god, we can totally make one of these.
I don't even think I'm enjoying this.
No, I like it.
And we did, and it's fantastic.
I adore this game. It is perfect.
The following is brought to you by loudspeak.com.
Episode 192 of the ChairShot Podcast is here, listeners. On this, the most perfect day to do an episode of the ChairShot Podcast. It's National Pro Wrestling Day in the States. I believe Barack Obama has declared it. Yeah. And we are celebrating by bringing you an hour and a half to 2 hours more fun and games that you've come to expect from us. With me, your host, Barry Murphy. Hello. And with me are my fellow hosts. First of all, Mr. Paul Griffin.
Hello. Sorry, I'm sick.
Are you really?
Yeah.
What's up with you?
Flu, innit?
Cold.
Flu-tista.
Doesn't work.
That doesn't work at all. Oh God, are we gonna have a show of just putting Tista on the end of things and going boo? I hate. Oh God, I hate broccoli Tista.
I like Brock-tista Lee, though.
And also with me is Mr. Joe Towner.
Jimmy Fly Snooker.
That's even better.
I hear that's a killer, Joe.
Well, we'll soon find out.
We will, indeed. We have a billion things to talk about, listeners. It's been a long week. It's been a very long week, listeners. I mean, like... Normally, wrestling is the relaxing bit of shite we watch as a bit of a time off from our busy schedules, but not this week. It's been all go. But before we get to that, Paul.
Yeah.
How's your week been, mate?
God, let me think. Mostly good, I think, except that I'm ill.
Yeah.
Been sick since Tuesday. Didn't miss a day of work though, because as Barry says, we're dependable.
Yeah, exactly.
Co-hosts. I
Not like certain wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm every day 365, mate, working.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I want to go home because I'm not.
Yeah, you know, I'm a university student. I'm working solid 24 weeks a year. You know. I think I had 7 weeks off for Christmas. It's mental. I finished a week before Christmas, and this is my first week back.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to the aforementioned girl from the past few weeks, and she was saying, I'm in university tomorrow for one class. Yeah. And it's like, I remember the days where 1 hour a day was like effort. You're like, I'll be in for 11?
Yeah.
Until 12?
I don't know what's going to happen to me when I graduate and have to go out into the big bad world. Well, I'll be unemployed when I get up at all. But but like this week, it was just like, oh God, my alarm clock went off at 12. I should probably go to the 2 o'clock class. And I won't bother. I actually did go to everything this week, but yeah. I was going to say that I'm feeling a little bit sick too, but then again, I'm sort of perennially stuffed up and just don't have use of my nose. So it's just less of a sickness and more of just a character trait at this stage.
Well, it'll sound like as women like to point out that men make the biggest brouhaha over the flu, but I was actually feeling okay this morning. Like I was starting to feel it start to ease off, and then I had to go to the shops to buy some bread, and I was probably outside for a combined like 7 minutes. It feels like I'm back to step one. Like it's completely ruined me.
Well, to be fair, it is absolutely horrible here
It's
currently.
very cold outside.
I don't know if you've seen the news, but Limerick is flood central currently. Some friends of mine, legitimately, sea rescue and army people, because they live down by, not really the coast, there isn't really a coast in Ireland, it's just the water, it's just kind of there in the middle of the city. So they live sort of along the banks of the Shannon, and like legitimately flooded and just like destroyed houses and bad stuff. So I got a check that I had to lodge, and of course it's Saturday. So there's only one branch of my bank open in the entire city for 2 hours on a Saturday morning, because what kind of business is open on a Saturday? Come on, guys, it's 1964. We don't open, on Saturdays. So I did have to.
There's no blacks either.
So so I had to get up early and get ready and head out to this one particular branch that's like 40 minutes walk away. And, yesterday wasn't particularly nice, but it was not as bad as the storm warnings and everything today. So I was awoken at like 8 o'clock this morning by the sound of my windows almost coming in, and just ridiculous rain and wind. It was absolutely wild. I managed to survive the trip to and from the bank, but absolute insanity here. But yeah, it's been a weird week. Hopefully, hope I don't miss any bloody uni time, man, because of that weather. It really bummed me out.
I have so little money now as well. After, I think I've spoken the past few weeks how expensive this month has turned out to be, and I don't get paid until Friday. So for the rest of the week, I have, and this is where throwing away those pennies is coming back to bite me. Perhaps.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I think I have like $5.30 or something, and that's
You're like me.
That's to feed me every day. So I'll be eating lint from my pockets.
Well, I'm assuming the house will have some food that you can just rob.
Yeah, but when I'm at work, I have to eat as well. I mean, I can't throw some ham in my pocket. Maybe I can actually.
Well,
I pack a lunch and a flask. I mean, even when I have money, I bring a flask, and I pack food because I don't like the fucking food at my college. And if I could, I would probably eat McDonald's every day, but then I'd be regretting it. But yeah, I'll tell you what else happened this week. Before the weather kicked off, it's been horrible weather here all week. But before it really kicked off, another strange natural phenomenon was going on. Back to college this week, as I noticed. Great to be back. I mean, obviously I'm a lazy little shit, and I don't like dragging myself out of bed. But I was going stir crazy, so it was nice to actually have something to do. So Tuesday. I went back Monday morning. It was an easy enough first day. Then Tuesday, 9 o'clock start. Got to the bus stop for 8:30. Folks queuing around the corner with their little fold-out chairs in their jammies and in their sleeping bags with their flasks, queuing up for Garth Brooks, 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, Garth Brooks, Joe, was around in the 90s, and he sang a very shitty sort of fusion of pop, country, not even pop country, just country.
Is he Toby Keith?
He is very much sort of, if Toby Keith is a guy you'd associate with TNA, then Garth Brooks is very much the WWE Toby Keith. He's sort of, shinier and more well-known. But you're still amazed when you find out people still care about him, in that regard. So I thought it was mental that they were there at 8 o'clock in the morning queuing up for tickets on a Tuesday. I thought that was mental. I thought it was more mental when I showed up on Wednesday, again, this was around 10 o'clock on Wednesday, to find out that they were just then starting to sell the tickets. So the people I saw the previous morning were the beginnings of a 25-hour camp-out session for Garth Brooks tickets in this miserable, shitty Irish weather. Not to mention the fact that it's also Limerick, and I wouldn't camp out on the streets of Limerick for, $5,000, not to spend $5,000 on fucking tickets. So, I get in the bus stop anyway, and the tickets had gone on sale. Like I said, it's around 10 a.m. Tickets had gone on sale about half hour beforehand, and there was blue murder because there was hundreds of people lining up for the tickets, and I think the story I've heard anecdotally is that about 40 people were served, but they each bought like 8 tickets or something like that, and basically they bought a bunch of them. And so out of the hundreds that queued up, less than 100 actually got tickets. So it was all kicking off. And as I was getting on the bus to uni, the guards were showing up, the police were showing up to herd people away because they were nearly at the point of rioting for Garth Brooks tickets. Now, to be fair, as much as we could ridicule it, I would be pretty annoyed if I queued up for 25 hours for tickets and they were, people were buying 10 at a time and there was no one I got there.
I'd be pretty annoyed that if I'd done that, I'd probably also have brain damage. So that would probably annoy me more. Why is he so popular in Ireland?
I have absolutely no clue because I have friends in Dublin who are the exact same, who were like, not there was no hassle, but it's like people queuing up, everything.
They're civilized in Dublin.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah, they've got roads there at this stage.
Postcodes and stuff.
Postcodes. It's just insanity, kind of like everyone's talking about it. There's hustle and bustle. There's already scalpers flogging them for £400 and £500 for shitty seats. It's bigger than WrestleMania. I mean, literally, it is bigger than WrestleMania. I think I have heard no one talking about WrestleMania tickets other than the diehard wrestling fans I know on Twitter. Like, it's insane.
You can get 6 months of the Garth Brooks network for $60. So.
That's pretty good. Yeah. So that was that was bizarre. I didn't actually hear of any more fallout of the Garth Brooks situation. But yeah, that was it. It was pretty crazy. I mean, I was debating whether or not I'd bother going to the midnight launch of Grand Theft Auto 5 last September, which I did end up going to. And even then, it was like, well, that was a unique experience. It was only 2 hours, and I actually got the thing. I didn't get like a ticket to the thing that I can go to 6 months later. I actually got what I wanted, and like that was enough for me to last me a lifetime. Like, I will never go to another midnight launch so long as I'm alive. You know what I mean? And I will never. Even if it's WrestleMania tickets, I will never queue up for tickets like that. So yeah. I was completely baffled by that. I was also baffled because a buddy of mine, well, someone I know, it's not really a buddy of mine, like a week ago, was like, yeah, great, got my tickets online. I was like, geez, you should probably tell the rest of them that. Because apparently it's not like they were just on sale at the box office. They were on sale online like every other event ever.
Oh, God.
But a bunch of people in Limerick just didn't get the memo, I guess. So, yeah, that was
also online. That's
oh, there you go. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. That was the highlight of my week. No other real news. At college, like I said, Garth Brooks. Yeah, and crazy weather.
Yeah, I'd heard talk on Facebook about the Garth Brooks phenomenon as well. I never really understood it. I never even understood Garth Brooks' popularity in the 90s, and I would consider myself someone with shy taste in music. But Garth Brooks, like.
But even people who I do consider to have shy taste in music, I'm surprised by. I consider country music in general to not be the type of thing everyone loves to listen to. It's too ubiquitous and universal for me to comprehend. You know what I mean?
Even that sort of, say there was Bon Jovi or someone of that ilk coming. I wouldn't even expect it to be that busy queuing for tickets. It would be a bigger deal, I would assume. But Garth Brooks, it's a really weird one. And apparently everyone on Facebook loves Garth Brooks all of a sudden. I always assumed he was sort of more of a novelty in Ireland, like a novelty singer.
Yeah.
I realise in America he's not, because country music is a thing there.
Yeah.
But
maybe that's it. It's not a huge thing over here, but he is the biggest one. So it's
yeah, maybe.
Like Pavarotti to
yeah.
classical.
I mean, comparable, I guess. But I did see one woman who was effing and blinding because she
couldn't go to Garth Brooks.
Like the type of nervous feeling you get when you're you're at a pub on a night out. Yeah. You're not particularly drunk, but there's someone there who looks like they could be a bit hassle and they've had too much and they're mouthing off. And you're like, oh god, I just want to leave. But it's at the bus stop and I can't leave because I need to get the bus.
Was she like, first the Royal Rumble, then CM Punk leaves? Yes. How good are we?
Oh fuck. But yeah, so that was the week. Yeah. Also, apparently, in a phenomenon that completely passed me by, but somehow Paul got wind of it, people are drinking pints on Facebook.
Yeah, and one of them died of it.
Yeah,
only one. That's a shame. Yeah.
Well, see, Joe, he made the mistake, mate. Of he had a pint of whiskey, and somehow he died. Oh. What a. Oh, I don't even want to slag him off because he's only just dead. It's a bit mean, but like,
give it
Jesus.
a week. Yeah.
I did an update on my Facebook saying it's called neck nomination, right?
Yeah.
And I put you're supposed to what you do is you put a video of yourself drinking, like it's basically like a dare. You drink very quickly a pint. People are drinking their own pubes. They're drinking piss, and you basically dare another person to do the same with whatever your added stipulation is. So I sort of sent out an open neck nomination to anyone who plays it, inviting them to take a sword and just swing at their own neck. And one girl said, it's a bit drastic, isn't it? Possibly a bit drastic, but someone's dead of it now.
You should have posted the one of you drinking water from the forum.
Very slowly.
Yeah. There you go.
I almost died after that, funny enough. I was actually sick immediately after.
Couldn't take that pint of water.
Yeah.
Too much.
Now, wasn't it 3 pints? 3 pints
yeah.
Our challenge?
But not downed in one. It was like 2 minutes, wasn't it?
It was the length of Blur's song too. Yeah.
No, that was the grapes.
Was it the grapes? What was the water one then?
I can't remember.
Maybe it's just as fast as you could. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think I even got all the way through 3 pints of water. I think I got like 2.5 and then I was ill. thrown up. So yeah, this is the thing. I've seen people put up videos of themselves doing it, and
It was I had never heard of it until Paul put up that status and then posted on the forum saying he was sick of it. And sure enough, I actually went. I had a few drinks with my friends, and they spoke about it. And again, I was like, I know of it, and they showed me a video of someone we went to school with doing it. He just had a pint, but he dressed up. He dressed up as it was a reference to some shit comedy film I've seen. But I think it was like, is there a film where Will Ferrell plays a basketball player?
yeah, semi-pro.
Yeah. Oh, so that was it. That was the exact thing. Yeah, semi-pro. He had a wig on and he wore a ridiculous outfit, and he downed a pint and he nominated 2 people. And I was like, all right, whatever. I mean, like, if someone, and it is a possibility, if someone had nominated me to that, I would not in a million years have done it, because it's a bit too lad Bible for me.
Well, I don't want to have a go at my obvious opinion of drinking culture. But Joe, if you could guess in which country this originated, and in which country it is now popular.
Is it Ireland?
Well, it is Ireland and Australia.
I was going to say Ireland and Australia, funnily enough, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's almost just the
Weird how
two
that
countries in
happens.
the world with the biggest drinking problems. Yeah. And now someone's died from it in Ireland, so...
It's just like every craze in Ireland, it ends via death. It's like when some fucker was hung from a tree for his shiny Charizard card, and that was
I was
the
going to
last.
say Pokemon cards!
Yeah, it's like, because this is how it goes. It's like Game Boy games. A man was beaten to death with his own Game Boy in a schoolyard this morning.
Well,
Isn't that terrible, lads?
I don't know if I've told this on the podcast before, but when I was like 11, in our primary school, we had this craze called the American Dream. He got a bicycle! And what it was one child would essentially strangle another one. Like you'd take the palms of your hands and push them against either side. Basically like a sleeper hold, but like standing in front of the person. And they'd lose consciousness temporarily and hallucinate or whatever.
Yeah, I think that happened at my school
And
as
it was
well.
incredibly... I never did it because I was the good little goody two-shoes child. And yeah, I mean, these sort of crazes. Actually, the teacher found out they were doing it, and she was like, who's not doing this? And it was just me and one other lad, and we were just stood up from the class, and they were like, these are the good children! And yeah, everyone else got in trouble for it. We didn't. I think we got like
Got a
lollipops.
reward.
Yeah, we did actually.
You choked on it. Oh. The
I tell
irony.
you one sort of trend that was, it's probably commonplace in most schools, that I was completely unaware of until the teacher caught wind of it and gave a very stern speech to the class. I was in primary school, so when it was a few years before I finished primary school, so I was probably 10 or 11. And apparently, some lads in my class had stashed pornography in the toilets. Bear in mind, we're like 10, so this is like, age where they don't. It's just doing it for the sake of, like, you're not supposed to kind of thing. Like, I don't know what was going on. I didn't ask personally, but we had the most awkward dressing down, not literally, from the teacher ever after she got wind. First of all, the rumor went that when she found it, she cried in the toilet because all these wee children were looking at porn. And then, so we had this really stern, just talking to about how bad it was, and I had no clue. I had no clue what it even was that she found, because of course she wasn't going to say it. She wasn't going to say that she found, fucking pictures of 2 women fucking kissing and trying to describe what it is to kids. She didn't do that. So she was ambiguous about it, and she was like, well, you know what it was, and we are not going to talk about it after. And it's like, I don't know what it was. And then when I found out what it was, I was like, I still don't really get it, because I was very naive.
Oh,
So,
God.
yeah.
There's nothing better than the naivety of being a child in school. We were coming back from swimming lessons one time, and the teacher had come up with a game where we had to come up with words beginning with C-O, like conference, cock, if you want. Cop. Very good, Joe. Just have a sticker.
Have a lollipop.
And we're all coming for good words. And this is again at 10 years old, I said condom. Not understanding what it was. I think what I meant was
Condominium?
condo. Because in my head, I had like a motel or something. Not a seedy motel where there would be condoms, of course. But I was like, and the teacher's like, yeah, good fault. Who else got one?
Yeah, that's a difficult one because it's not like it's a swear word, you know.
I know, but I didn't understand what it meant, and I was like, teacher, a condom begins with C-O, and so does cock, and that goes inside it. There you go, double points for me.
I was like, good again, Paul. Sit down, Paul. Stop saying words. Your goal stopped 5 minutes ago.
Oh God, school's mad.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's the craze at the moment. Hopefully that's the end of it. I doubt it will
It
be.
almost certainly is. How could you do it now and not feel guilty? Know that you're being judged. You're afraid you would have someone on your Facebook going, "Oh man, poor taste."
Yeah, exactly. And that'll be me doing it. Anyone I see, I'll be like, "Oh, your man died that time."
Yeah, remember that?
I'm gonna
Did you think of his family before you poured that pint? No, I bet you didn't.
I'm gonna be the little policeman now running around going, "Oh, come on, guys."
Oh, Ellie has a new cat.
Who?
Maybe it'll email the show. Ellie.
Don't know who that is.
Friend of the show, Ellie! Well, I say friend of the show. She hasn't emailed us in about 6 months. Fuck you, Ellie, and fuck your new cat. Anyway. I'm going to feel really bad if she listens and hears that. Anyway.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, she won't. Yeah,
whatever. Fuck her. Anyway, what's happening? Where are we?
I don't know. We were just discussing, what's it called? The death of...
Discussing our weeks from our childhood.
Yeah, our week from our childhood and also weeks from people not involving us. Yeah, I have no other news. Those are all my talking points.
Right. Well, I had the opportunity this week to go to a preview showing of a movie.
Oh,
Ooh, how'd that happen? Win a contest?
My brother won a contest. Yeah, we went to go see the new Christian Bale movie, Out of the Furnace.
Yeah,
So we saw that.
I've never heard of it.
It's got Christian Bale in it. It's got
Casey Affleck.
Casey Affleck, Woody Harrelson is in it as well.
Who's the other fella? The one who's Idi Amin.
It's got Willem Dafoe in it.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't Idi Amin.
And he's just like shouting at Christian Bale, just like demanding photos of Spider-Man. And don't put down that brick. Leave my penis alone. Get it. Find me Ellen Page.
So I went to see that, and I thought it was averagey, decent. I was not blown away by it at all. Yeah, some aspects of it felt very like it was as if it was it was as if it was a very good movie, but that I just didn't get into at all. It was very, very competently made, very well acted, good performances, but just something about it held it back from me getting actually really into it. I was almost a little bored by it. Casey Affleck's good, Bale's good. I think it would have been better if they played each other's roles though, because Casey Affleck plays this out of control, loose cannon, former army man, done wrong by the country that he fought for, you know. And Christian Bale is sort of the level-headed brother, trying to keep him under control. Whereas I think Christian Bale almost plays the out of control characters better, and Casey Affleck's better as the calm, level-headed every man, you know. So I think that would have been interesting. Zoe Saldana's in it for about 4 minutes, and which doesn't let you. She's sort of the girlfriend of Christian Bale, but the fact that she's in it so little means you don't really care about their story. Yeah, the ending's very, very wacky as well. If either of you seen the Ken Loach film Looking for Eric?
Yes.
No.
Fantastic movie, first of all.
Yeah.
But it's similar in a way where Looking for Eric is a very, very tense, very serious film that then has this sort of wacky ending.
Quite surreal ending.
That
isn't it?
feels a little bit out of place. This is sort of along those lines, where it's a very serious, gritty, realistic movie, and then the ending has characters sort of acting out of character with how they've been for the rest of the movie. And I didn't really like that too much. I thought the ending was very poor. It was almost too contrived as well, the ending. So I gave it a 6 out of 10 out of the furnace. I would not recommend people buy it. I would not recommend people see it in the cinema. But if you had the opportunity to rent it, or if it's on TV at any point, you might enjoy it. So, sort of a very limited recommendation there. That same day, I finally saw The Wolf of Wall Street as well. Which, have either of you seen yet, The Wolf of Wall Street?
No, not yet.
No.
Probably my top 10 of all time.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, definitely the most fun I've ever had watching a movie.
Yeah, what were you up to then?
I was simply watching it, Joe. Just simply watching the movie.
You sly dog.
It's probably my favorite Scorsese movie, and I know that's saying a lot. But
I think Joe's disagreeing. He hasn't seen it.
well, I'm not saying it's.
It'd have to go.
And it's also
I'm not saying-
Paul's preference.
I'm not saying it's the best Scorsese movie. Don't get confused. I just think it's my favorite. It's very It's relentlessly bonkers and mad.
Okay.
It's really good in that the film is about this stockbroker, obviously, who's on cocaine and just living life at 100 miles an hour, going fucking crazy. And that is reflected in how the movie is shot and made. Like, the movie itself is like this cocaine-fueled, mad trip almost. And that's what you feel as watching it. You almost feel like, God, this is just going 100 miles an hour. So I like the way that was done. The characters are always fucking screaming, and yeah, I really, really love Wall Street. One thing I'll say though is that the trailer gave me the impression that Matthew McConaughey was going to be in it a lot more than he is. He's almost just a cameo in it, honestly.
Sorry, who?
Matthew McConaughey.
Oh yeah. It's just at the beginning, isn't it?
Yeah, he's excellent though.
Yeah.
DiCaprio is excellent. I think DiCaprio of the movies I've seen so far should probably get the Oscar for best lead. Even compared to films like 12 Years a Slave, I thought DiCaprio was outstanding in this movie. There's of course the nice boobie bonus, because nice boobies in the movie. And Wolf of Wall Street I loved. I can't give it enough recommendations. I'll definitely be buying on Blu-ray when it comes out.
To let it sit and not watch it.
No, I'll definitely watch it again for sure. It's just really, really fun. I'd say it's probably the most fun I've had since Cabin in the Woods, but it's more fun. I was told in advance that it feels it's a very long movie, which is true. It's nearly 3 hours long, but the impression I gave was that the length made it feel like it was like sagging a bit. But I didn't feel that. I did sometimes feel like, okay, this is a very long movie, but there's no point where towards the end you feel like it starts to drop off. Like, okay, come on, wrap it up now. It is good for the entirety, but it is very, very long. It's extremely funny. It is a comedy for all intents and purposes as well. And I can't say enough good things about it. I love The Wolf of Wall Street. It was
Sounds great.
much better than I thought it was going to be as well. I was a little dubious going in because I had heard some people
Banging on about it.
No, but I'd also heard some people say these negatives, like it is too long.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Wolf of Wall Street was excellent. Very good music as well. Very well shot. I don't think I've ever seen a Scorsese movie that I don't like though. Even the ones that are a little lesser, like Shutter Island and Cape Fear, compared to other directors, I think are excellent.
Yeah.
I
think of a bad Scorsese movie.
Even The Departed, I think is probably.
Oh, it's great.
It's not.
Departed.
It's good. Very
I
good.
wouldn't have The Departed in the top tier though. You know.
I don't know. I need to watch The Departed again. I haven't seen it basically since it came out.
Well, I would put this one in the top tier along with Goodfellas, Taxi Driver. Above films like The Departed.
I put Goodfellas ahead.
It's actually very similar to Goodfellas in a way.
Put Departed above A Taxi Driver.
No, what? That is an incorrect.
It's pretty damn correct, I think.
No, it's you know nothing about movies if you think that. Yeah. So Gave The Wolf of Wall Street a 10 out of 10. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else in it that I'd need to refer to. Jonah Hill's very good.
Yeah.
If anything, it's got aspects of Spring Breakers to it as well.
I was just gonna say when you said it's about a guy and he's all cocained up, and the film it also
Yeah.
feels like a cocaine trip. It's like I feel like that was a lot of rationale that I really liked about Spring Breakers.
It's got aspects of Spring Breakers to it.
There was a connection between how the film is made and the story it's telling, which I really liked.
Exactly. That's well, you probably like Wolf of Wall Street then as well.
Well, I was confident I was gonna like it anyway. Actually,
It's similar in that it's got unlikable characters in it, but it's done in such a fun way that you relate anyway, and you can just sort of go along with it rather than sit there in a huff going, "I don't like these bitches" or whatever. Yeah. Also, there's so many recognizable faces in it. Eli Thompson from Boardwalk Empire pops up again. He seems to be in everything these days. That guy.
Who's who?
Shay Wiggum, I think his name is.
Who?
He's the brother of.
he's Nucky's brother in Boardwalk Empire. Nucky, for
Oh,
fuck's sake! No, he doesn't sound like that. Oh god! All the accents on Boardwalk run together.
I'm trying to think. Is there anything else I need to say about Wolf of Wall Street?
I
No.
hope I might try and get to see it next week because I don't think I have much long left.
I would say just watch the trailer, and imagine that for the whole movie. That level of madness and insanity.
I don't know, Paul. I don't think I can watch that trailer for longer than 3 minutes, to be honest. We shall see. Too many yellow graphics. Not a big fan of yellow.
Yeah, and it's all made all the better by the fact that it is based on a true story. That it made me feel like myself, feel like, oh well, I should be a millionaire too then, because I could make money. And it's almost
What a weird reaction.
It's almost inspiring in a way. Wolf of Wall Street.
that's the message, is it?
Yeah, I don't know what
Let's see what Paul does next.
probably just stay in my job.
CSP 193 and then 4 and then 5 and then 6.
And then I watched 2 movies yesterday.
Oh, aye.
Closing off the movie go segment for myself this week. I watched first of all The Negotiator.
Oh.
1998
Yeah.
movie by F. Gary Gray, who's made a load of other shite movies.
I was going to say, that sounds like something some fucking Wesley Snipes would be in 1998.
It's Sam Jackson and Kevin Spacey.
Oh, so that's close enough. Just loud, angry action film.
No. It's if anything, it's
just
like
loud, angry
Oh.
Sam Jackson.
if anything, it's like a quiet Die Hard.
Yeah,
That
that's
sounds
a bit boring.
It's like a less exciting Die Hard.
Hmm.
I think Kevin Spacey's excellent in it.
Yeah.
I've not seen enough Kevin Spacey. I need to watch some more movies with Kevin Spacey.
I thought that too after watching House of Cards. I was like,
It's
yeah.
not- It's not quite Usual Suspects level.
K-Pax. That's a good film.
But
That's just alright.
Kevin Spacey's excellent. Sam Jackson's good. He's not blow away good. He's fine.
Wait, what does he play? Oh, he's the
He's the
hostage man.
titular negotiator.
Oh no! Oh yeah, Kevin Spacey's the bad guy, isn't he?
That's a weird dynamic. Oh, I guess not. I guess
He-
Sam Jackson's
he-
always a cop.
Kevin
Really.
Spacey's not at all the bad guy, so I don't know where you're getting that from.
Right, who's the bad guy?
I don't know who the bad guy is. It is a mystery movie to an extent, but no, Kevin Spacey is a neutral negotiator brought in to basically Sam Jackson is a negotiator who's framed for murder and takes people hostage to clear his name.
Oh.
They bring in a neutral negotiator.
Oh yeah.
What a premise.
Yeah, I thought it was decent. I thought it was fun.
So he's like an expert negotiator. So they have to bring in an even better negotiator to
Well, it's actually
to out negotiate him
there's some good interplay where
and win the fight.
they are negotiating, and one guy will say something, and the other guy will counter with, "Oh, that's not how you do it." And blah, blah, blah. But I thought it was fine. Again, I didn't think it was excellent. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
How many times can you do that before you get the concept of the film? You're like,
I know.
Okay. No, I know you're pulling from page 78 of Winterbottom's text, but look, I know that chapter, mate. Don't even go there.
It was okay. It was okay. I say I would recommend it only because Kevin Spacey is very good in it,
Yeah.
and you could always do with watching a Kevin Spacey movie. Again, I wouldn't buy it necessarily.
Well, House of Cards season 2 in 2 weeks.
Well, I have House of Cards season 1 on Blu-ray that I've not started yet, so I really that suddenly I'm really very interested in watching that. But
That's pretty good. That's pretty good box set watching. You'll start that, and if you have a quiet weekend, you'll tear through this.
Well, I've just started watching True Detective as well.
Oh yeah, I need to get on that. Yeah.
Woody Harrelson again and Matthew McConaughey. By the way, regarding Matthew McConaughey, has there been anyone in Hollywood in recent years who's had such a career turnabout? Because in 2009, he was muscular body for rom-coms, and now he's this sort of gaunt, excellent actor. Like, when did that happen? What was the turning point in his career?
Let me think.
Because even as far back as like maybe 2011, 2010, when I saw Matthew McConaughey in a movie, I immediately thought, never watch that movie because it's a shite rom-com. And now when I see it, I'd honestly put McConaughey lately on the level of guys like, not quite Day-Lewis, but that low, maybe Christian Bale, where you know that, okay,
How to Lose a Guy 10 days after realizing he's just not into you.
But now McConaughey is this level where if he's in a movie, I'm interested immediately because he's in it, because he's this now high-level, well-regarded actor. Well, it's crazy. Negotiator. Oh, and then I watched Thor 2, was shite.
Yeah.
It was very, very boring for a superhero movie.
So was the first one. For like the first half of the first one was brutal.
Nearly everyone I've spoken to since has said that Thor 2 is better than Thor 1, but I preferred the first Thor.
I wasn't crazy about the first one, to be honest. So.
Neither was I, but I think I don't know. I just thought this one was a little more boring. I thought it was a little duller, a little wackier as well, in a way, which is weird because normally wacky is good for this kind of movie. But from the first scene, they're like, "Here is the ether in space and the race of dark elves." Who I was like, they've already lost me here because this is a load of space jargon and nonsense. And I don't know. I just prefer the origin story with the scenes in what's Thor's homeland called?
Asgard.
I don't know. I just thought the first one was better with Loki as the villain, as the main villain. I thought that worked better. The villain.
I don't know. I still think he sold enough for Chris Hemsworth.
And then Chris Hemsworth went home, of course. He's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought the villain was weaker in this one, and it was sort of like comparing the first Star Trek to the latest one, where Eric Bana was in the first one. I thought he was a very weak villain, and with Cumberbatch in the second one, because the villain was stronger, I felt like it was a stronger movie. This one has sort of the same problem. I didn't think the villain was particularly good in this one. I don't remember his name, Malik Karth or something. And yeah, I thought the first Thor was much better. I gave this one a 4 out of 10. Same score I gave Man of Steel, which I didn't like at all. Yeah, I don't know. I expected it to be... The thing when you watch these movies, like the Thor, the Captain America, Iron Man, you expect them to be, not particularly good, but fun. And this one was just not fun, nor was it good. In fact, at the beginning, it was almost, so bad it's good. But then that wore out very quickly, and it just became so bad, it's just bad. And then it was over. Then it was done. There was no good performances in it. The dialogue was horrible, as you expect in the Thor movie, where everyone speaks like a WWE promo. Like, no one speaks like a human would. You must go, Thor, to the land of the humans.
Or stick the big man for me.
Thor, did you text your own phone so you could get in the building? And that's what I watched. So they were my 4 movies. In order from best to worst, I'll go Wolf of Wall Street, 10 out of 10. Second, we go The Negotiator, 7 out of 10. Out of the Furnace, 6 out of 10. And Thor 2, The Dark World, 4 out of 10. And tonight, I'm watching Zodiac. Fine. While I wait for the UFC, which starts at 3 a.m. I'm going to watch Zodiac.
Oh, don't watch it. Watch Zodiac and then go to bed.
No, because fight men. The I believe Zodiac's a very long movie as well. I was warned about that today.
2 hours 40 probably, yeah.
It's I have the DVD in front of me here. Runtime 151 minutes, so an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But I've been assured that it's very good. It's David Fincher, so
Yeah.
he did.
Was he the one who told you it's quite good?
He was selling it outside a pub.
It's got someone else I would put on that level of McConaughey as someone who turned their career around. Jake Gyllenhaal. He's in it.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
What was in that was bad?
Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
I think
Well, okay. That's fine.
He was in lots of stuff that was bad. Hang on.
No, he started out in Donnie Darko, though, so it's not like you.
well, Donnie Darko was very good.
It's not like he was.
I still haven't
shooting
seen that actually.
Well,
But
maybe he's not someone who's turned their career around as much as stepped up another gear. In
yeah,
some-
just yeah, not
shit.
yeah. Appearing in some more stuff that's kind of a bit more universal.
There was a good trailer came out today, by the way, for the new Denis Villeneuve film. The guy who did one of my favorite films last year, Prisoners. His new film, which is called Enemy, which also stars Jake Gyllenhaal. So go check that on YouTube as soon as you get the opportunity. It looks very interesting, and I'm
let me see
very
here.
much
Jake,
looking forward to it.
Jake Gyllenhaal, actor. Yeah.
What's your take on McConaughey, Tanner?
I don't know.
He's a
Alright,
great
so
actor now. Where'd that
Recently, wait, hang on. Nightcrawler, is that the Marvel character? 2014. A young man stumbles upon the underground world of LA. No, okay, sorry. No, I'm reading Jake Gyllenhaal's IMDb, and there was a movie called Nightcrawler, and I was wondering if that is the Marvel X-Men character. But anyway, okay, so he was in Prisoners, yep. He was in End of Watch.
excellent movie. End of Watch.
Source Code.
Very good as well. I really like Source Code.
Love and Other
yeah.
Drugs. Okay, so here's the first bad one. We got Prince of Persia, fair enough. Which I didn't even think was horrible, but it was just bad. Brothers, which I don't remember seeing.
I didn't really like Brothers that much.
Rendition. I remember that. I'd never been intrigued by that, but I never bothered to see it because I didn't hear very good things. Zodiac.
Good.
Brokeback Mountain.
Good.
Jarhead.
Day After Tomorrow.
Brilliant.
I quite like Day After Tomorrow.
I love it.
Yeah, I like Day After Tomorrow as well. I've owned it 3 times on DVD.
Oh God, you maniac.
Well, I bought one second hand from a video store, and that was all scratched and broken.
Not David Fincher then.
Why would he be selling that?
Selling his old DVD collection.
Oh yeah, I like The Day After Tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking on IMDb now. I gave The Day After Tomorrow a 8 out of 10. There you go. Yeah, I guess Jake Gyllenhaal's not been in bad movies, but he's just one of those guys now. If I see he's in it, I mean, he's top tier for me. Himself, McConaughey, all of a sudden. Yeah, Bale. Good stuff. Yeah, Enemy there. He's 2013. So go look up that trailer for Enemy. Have either of you guys seen movies this?
I saw a movie called Tucker and Dale versus Evil,
Oh yeah.
which was a lot of fun. A bit like Cabin in the Woods.
All right.
And it sort of deconstructs horror movies. Not scary, but very funny, quite interesting. So yeah, give that a watch.
Who's in it?
No, it's
Tucker and
unknowns
Dale.
really. The only person I recognised was, the blonde girl from 30 Rock, the really hot one.
Oh, Katrina Bowden.
Yeah, she's in it.
Oh, I might check it out then.
Yeah, am I going to watch that?
Yeah, otherwise, I think it's an independent movie. It's very fun.
Yeah, I saw nothing this week. I didn't even watch Archer this week, so I'm slacking.
Yeah.
Slacking. But anyway, it was because there's been a million wrestling things going on in that. So
Well, I think I started True Detective this week, so I'm going to watch. I'm only on episode 2, so I'm going to watch that tomorrow, and it's really good so far. So if people aren't watching True Detective yet, I mean, I'm probably behind the curve, going watch it, but watch it. It's good.
Yep.
All right.
So with all that said, no Mama update.
Yeah, there is
wake
a
up with your
memo
teeth
update.
falling out of your mouth.
There is a memo update. Mama's got a toothache now, which he claims he got from me. I don't know whether it
You can't catch it.
So I spin around in my chair at work. I don't think I did anything to him, but I was
Not directly.
Gave him a toffee.
I was spinning around in my chair at work, and I turned to Mama, and he had a crystal in his ear.
Chair goes round. Chair goes round.
Wait, hang on. A crystal in his ear, as in the ear hole, or as an earring?
No, in the ear hole. He was holding it. It was a very big crystal.
It was telling him what you did.
No, apparently he was using it to heal his toothache.
He's like, that's a long way around. I'll put it in the mouth.
Well, I did a joke that he was trying to control me with mind control, and I got up and started walking like a robot, and he looked unhappy.
Oh fuck! That's
Also, he was
brilliant.
telling me that because I was saying that I've been sick since Tuesday. He was saying to me that I need to wear more socks in bed, and he was telling me that he has a specific pair of socks that he wears in bed.
Why does he know whether you do or you don't?
I don't know. I think I've said to him before that wearing socks in bed is mental.
Why did you say that? It's not mental,
Because he wears a hat in bed.
Well, because where's he from?
Oh, I don't know, Afro somewhere.
Yeah, well, I assumed. But what I'm getting at is this place is probably freezing compared to where he's from.
Sure, but I'm not going to be nosy and ask him about that, am I?
Oh yeah, terribly imposing question. Like, where are you originally from? Oh God, he'd probably get highly offended and get your chakra out of alignment.
Oh, he'd be right on that chakra. So
He'd get his little chakra needle out of his his chest that he buried under the 12th moon of Zod. Stick it into his paw doll made out of hemp.
Yeah, so that's all Mav has been up to with his big. It was like probably about an inch and a half long and about 2 centimeters across. This big crystal. He was just holding it in his ear. I was like, "What is that in your ear, Mama?" Oh yeah, so that's him. That's the Mama update. I have some emails if you want to get onto that.
Yeah. Someone on Twitter during the week asked me that he wanted more. How cheap is Barry Lad? But nothing has occurred this week to test my cheapness. Unless there's anything I'm forgetting, I don't think there was. So I'll try and make a note of any excessive cheapness on my part during the week, and I'll bring it up next week. But yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, fair enough. My first one comes from my good friend Will, and Will wants to know. Well, actually, he says that he's not so sure what's been going on in wrestling this week. But what do I think that GSP leaving UFC is a work? Obviously, a reference to CM Punk there. I think it is a work, and I think he's going to run in during the main event tonight, knock the ref over, and then Uriah Faber will give a low blow to Ellen Barrow and pin him, and the referee will come to and count the 3 count, and the first UFC 5 all time will end via pinfall. And then Vince McMahon will be on stage. It's like, "It's me all along, Dana." And then we'll finally get that fight that Vince McMahon's been after against Dana at WrestleMania. So there you go. Thank you, William. I liked your email, even if these two no sold it.
Oh yeah, I liked your email, so let me give you a sarky, piss-takey answer.
Oh, well, go ahead.
No, that was me doing an impression of you. Did you not notice?
I sound nothing like that.
Yeah.
Second one comes from Scott. Subject, movie endings. Hello, Paul. Amazingly enough, you and I agreed on... Amazingly, we agreed on the film. That's not amazing. He says last week that I too enjoyed Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
He hated Three Stooges.
Oh, well. That's impossible to hate. It's Three Stooges. Excellent movie. He says the only thing I didn't care for is something that bothers me a lot about movies where there is obviously a sequel being set up, and that's the hand-holding that goes on setting up the next movie. Well, he gives a spoiler here about the ending of Rise of the Planet of the Apes. So if you don't want to know how the Rise of the Planet of the Apes ends, skip forward 30 seconds in this podcast. He says, "It
was Earth all along."
In this case, all the fights going around the world after the infected pilot got on a plane to London. Sorry for anyone out there who hasn't seen the movie. That's what happens. It seems like Hollywood thinks people are too stupid to figure out what is going to happen next.
They are.
Yeah. The only movie that didn't do that explicitly was 28 Weeks Later, where, spoiler again, skip ahead 10 seconds.
I haven't seen that.
Okay, I won't say what the spoiler was.
Just spoil. I'm never gonna watch it.
I won't.
Yeah, neither am I, fuckers.
Okay, well, 28 Weeks Later is... Here's my spoiler. The film's a bit shit. At the end of the movie, you see the infected running toward the Channel Tunnel with the obvious thought that mainland Europe is next. Are there any movies where the sequel is set up, but not in such a smack-over-the-head manner that you can think of? Thanks, Scott. Yeah, I mean, I see your point. sometimes it's a little too blatant like that. Especially, it's quite funny when you look back films where, in fact, the sequel was then never made, like CSP favorite Godzilla from 1997, where the last egg is in the chamber, and then there was never a sequel to it.
Well, not yet. Never know.
Joe holding out hope.
Was that not Pacific Rim?
Doodle-doo, well, the Godzilla's coming out next year.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll start with that.
Previously on Godzilla. Films where that does not happen. I mean, sometimes it's done in a smack over the head way, but it's still good. Like it is done in a tantalizing way where you're like, oh, that is actually interesting. Like the ending of Batman Begins. I think is a good ending leading to a sequel rather than a sort of okay, that's okay, we're getting a sequel now. I think that was done in quite a clever way, especially since comics. It was done in a way that is sort of applicable to that style of movie, where like another crime has happened. Here's the
also, comics you almost expect a sequel. Really.
Exactly.
It's not.
I would say the ending of Empire Strikes Back. Although that's not really an ending of a movie with a little ending holding your hand to the next movie. That is, those two movies are almost one movie split in two. Because the
same with Back to the Future 2 and 3.
Marty,
we gotta go back.
Also, we gotta recast your girlfriend. Yeah, Back to the Future is a good call, I would say, for sure. Although that was more like they were saying, oh, they then go on more adventures, and then they made a sequel of it. You know what I mean?
Well, they filmed at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I filmed in '89.
And what was the excuse for the third movie?
What do you mean?
Because that third movie is no good.
What the
Back to the Future 3 is not good, Joe.
Yeah, but what about the old Western theme?
The train.
And then it gets to the little romantic bit, like. I
I don't like the third one. I like the first two. I need to watch Back to the Future again. Just the first two.
Friend of the show, Merchant, who I believe has never listened to it once, got Back to the Future Legos this week.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, the Simpsons Lego came out this week, I think. Which looks a bit weird, but, you know, it's alright.
Well, I have the Back to the Future 4-disc set on DVD, so I need to stick those on again. They're very, very, very fun movies. That's my fourth favorite movie of all time, the first Back to the Future.
Ooh.
Just outside the top three. Any other examples of movies that have... I mean, you have this thing now as well, which I like, where... And again, it's applicable to superhero movies, where we have the film ends and then you have the post-credit scene.
Mm.
I think they're I think they're enjoyable. Like the X-Men movies, for example.
Yeah.
And just thinking of other examples. Looking at my DVD collection. No, we'll leave it at that. I don't really see any other ones that apply. There's sequels, but then the previous movies, like the Dirty Harry movies, there's no link between them. The second one just picks off with a second story. The first one doesn't hint at the coming sequel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same with the Rockies, really.
Not the mountains.
Heyo!
Why did I laugh at that?
Right, and my final email comes from Steve from the Bay Area.
Oh, 3 emails. Wow.
Yeah, hang on a second. Let me reopen it up because I clicked on the wrong tab. Subject: contests. He says, greeting from the Bay Area. With the Super Bowl just days away, all the surrounding events have been helping everyone here in America fill the time. Today, Friday, in Philadelphia, Wing Bowl 22 was held. A 30-minute event in which contestants try to eat as many chicken wings as possible.
God, this is the most American email ever. We ain't got shit to do to the Super Bowl, so we're gonna eat some wings and make it a contest. Win the dad.
It's a little bit
pint of
like
wings.
next nominations, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you guys want to hazard a guess as to the description of the winner and how many wings were devoured?
Oh, the description of the winner.
Fat bastard.
Gluttonous cunt.
The winner was a mom in her 30s from Nebraska.
Stone or...
And in 30 minutes, she ate how many wings?
250.
Joe?
251.
She ate 363 wings.
Jesus Christ!
In 30 minutes.
That's almost one for every day of the year.
Jesus Christ, how many chickens is that? Fucking hell.
Well, how many wings on a chicken? So 2, so 150.
Oh, divide that by 2, you got 180.
Oh, to be fair, chicken wings are small, and they are very nice, to be fair to Steve and all Americans.
Well, Steve describes it as a terrifying amount of food.
Well, yeah. She's obviously a terrifying amount of woman.
He says, is there any food in which you'd be willing to participate in an event like this? Or is this type of event so foreign that it's only something us Americans are dumb enough to try?
I don't know. I've often thought about it. Like, it's one of those things that I think a lot of people look at and go, "I could do that." It's I could eat 100 chicken nuggets in a second. There's one of the pizza places around here, one of the 4-star pizzas. Every now and then they do a 24-inch pizza challenge, which I think like the biggest one you can actually buy is like 14 inches. So this thing's fucking massive, and it's 2 people. And I think it's 20 quid to do it, but if you actually finish the pizza in a half hour, you get it. You can do it for free. So that's the closest thing we have here. I have never, unless I'm mistaken, and I'm at university where there's all kind of stupid shit going on at Rag Week and stuff. I have never seen any kind of eating contest or anything of that nature, other than maybe a yard of ale, which is still done, or a yard of Coke, which yard of alcohol might not be popular this year, given recent events. But might give that a miss. But yeah, I would love. You know what? I love wings. Wings are nice. If there was an opportunity for me to eat a bunch of them for a half hour, fuck it, why not? I would if they were barbecue.
I don't know if I'd be able for that sort of thing, because even despite my reputation on here as the fat one, like for example, I love McDonald's. You might be surprised to hear that. I love McDonald's. But after 1 quarter pounder, fries, a Coke, McFlurry,
And another quarter pounder.
No,
You're a bit full up.
I'm done after 1. I wouldn't be able for a second quarter pounder. So I don't know how someone could eat 300 odd wings in 30 minutes.
A friend of mine on Thursday night counting out his pennies at the end of the night. We were going to get food. And he's like, he's
You should hang around
away,
outside
no?
Paul's bedroom window.
yeah.
Get a
And he
burger.
was just like, 2, 6, 8 euros. And we were going into this chicken place. He's like, I have to go to the bank. And it's like, you just counted out 8 euros. What do you need to go to the bank for? He's like, I need to get 2 meals. I was like, what? He says, I need to get 2 meals. And he's not fat, by the way. He's skinny. He's about similar to me, maybe a bit more better shape. And he got 2 full large chips, large chicken burgers, large drinks, and actually ate them and finished them after a night out. So
Interesting.
the Irish can put away the food when they want to.
I've not made McDonald's in ages. As soon as I got paid, right out to McDonald's. I think it was Jesus. I don't think I've had a McDonald's this year yet.
It's only been a month.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah, but neither have I.
For me, that's like the Great Irish Famine. Did sport have gone bad? Leave the country. So thanks for that, Steve. That's all my emails for the week. Thank you all. I love you all very much. Who else got them?
I do.
Go on, Bar.
Here. My phone would speed up. There we go. Alrighty. I got an email from Steve entitled Hall of Fame. So he says, greetings from the Bay Area. Yes, I was the one who sent in the question about Grantland last week. Apologies, Steve. I did not recognize your email address and whatnot. I apologize. The flu melted my brain, and I forgot to mention that when writing. Yeah, everyone must identify themselves as where they're from.
That's where I got it from, then.
Otherwise, I won't know. Yes, you sent Paul the flu.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
attachment to his email.
He says, back in December, Kiss was announced as one of this year's inductees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They've been on the ballot for years and was considered one of the biggest omissions. Most of the articles were positive, saying this was great as Kiss was finally getting the recognition they deserved. But there were articles saying this is the worst thing that could have happened to Kiss. The theory is that going into the Hall of Fame is a negative as it removes that person's name from the list of debated candidates. It's just that not getting in is better because it keeps their name around when next year's candidates come up for discussion. People will spend more time debating the merits and drawbacks of their candidacy. There seems to be some truth to this, as when the Observer Hall of Fame comes up, countless hours are spent starting threads and recording shows debating why someone should be in or not, while almost no talk happens about the people inducted in the last few years. What's your take? Is getting into the Hall of Fame worse than not getting in? Okay, back to studying for midterms. Love the show. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Steve. Good luck with your midterms. That's an interesting thing. I don't know. I mean, I feel like Sting will be the subject of debates until probably I'm dead, at least. But whether or not he is Hall of Fame worthy in that regard, that's one of the most recurring ones on places like the Observer site. Yeah, I mean it is interesting because you will be a subject of debate, but even within the context of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is a lot bigger than any wrestling Hall of Fame, well at least I think, it's still not the type of thing that everyone discusses, really. I mean, is it really the type of thing? It's not in the public consciousness, really. It's kind of more among the music and the rock diehards, similar to how the Observer one would be the wrestling diehards. So, and I feel like those people aren't going to forget Kiss, regardless. So, I mean, it's an interesting thing, but I feel like it is almost better to get in because some people just take it so seriously. It's like offended if someone's not in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean...
It's a bit like how for years Martin Scorsese never won an Oscar.
Yeah.
There was always debate about, is it better not to have won it because people like Alfred Hitchcock never won one and lots of other famous directors never won it. But then he did end up winning it for Aviator, so remove that.
But yeah, and plus it usually warrants some amusing debate. I saw something on Twitter this week. Because I think Triple H and John Cena are both in the Observer Hall of Fame, and I saw someone kicking off because well, Sting has a more diverse moveset. So why isn't he in?
I think Scorsese won it for The Pirate, not for Aviator. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Ooh.
I haven't seen either of them, so whatevs.
Okay.
I think Aviator was nominated, but I don't think it won Best Director.
Wait, did he? Oh, I didn't even know he did the Aviator. Christ, he's been using Leonardo DiCaprio for a decade.
I know, it's him and DiCaprio.
A long time. Although the weird thing is, he seems to be the only person who really has latched on to Leonardo DiCaprio. When you think about it. He seems to find those two names together more than DiCaprio and anyone else.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
Yeah. So thank you very much for your email, Mr. Steve from the Bay Area.
Jeez, DiCaprio is 39, by the way.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. He's old.
Let me see here. Email from Scott. He says, greetings. Last week you said that the Big Show versus Brock Lesnar could be the match of the night. And I'd like to see if you think it lived up to the hype. Less than 3 minutes of an actual match with 10 minutes of chair shots, the Big Show surrounding it. Unless Show is hurt, I can't see a reason why this match even took place, and it was a waste of an appearance by Brock. Also, I'm going to call back to a previous email I sent and say that we are seeing Triple H's handprints all over the WWE right now. From terrible finishes to title matches to the fact that all of his old friends are getting spots on the shows. The Aged Outlaws getting titles, Nash in the Rumble, Batista winning the Rumble. The only one not getting allowed back so far is X-Pac. We're seeing what Triple H used to rail against, and that's the old boy network getting the spotlight at the expense of the guys who worked every day and busted their ass entertaining the fans. Is there any wonder with this situation that Punk walked out? Thanks for another week of entertainment, Scott. Well, I was wrong about Big Show and Brock Lesnar. I thought they would have an actual match, which I don't think they did. I was amused. I was entertained by it for what it was. I mean, I think the realization was kind of that they probably weren't at this stage of the game. Those two probably weren't going to have a very good match. It's not 10 years ago. So yeah, I enjoyed it, but no, it wasn't the match of the night. The opener was the match of the night. As for Triple H's fingerprints, I mean, look, that's very hard to say. But certainly, I mean, look, his buddies are certainly doing very well for themselves. So you can definitely come to a certain conclusion. That it does pay dividends to be Triple H's friend, but that's been known for a very long time. So yeah. Thank you, Scott, for your email. Those are my emails for this week.
My first email is from Scott McAvoy. Subject: you got your Royal Rumble wish. Happy. Good evening, Joe. Last week you mentioned that you wanted my Attitude Era stars in the Royal Rumble, and you got Diesel. Are you happy now? No, because Diesel wasn't an Attitude Era star. And Kevin Nash was in WCW for the whole of the Attitude Era, so Does that really count? I don't know. That could have been Titus O'Neill or Darren Young or even Otunga. But we had to watch Diesel come out and look slower and older than I thought possible.
Hang on, is he saying is he pro Titus, Darren, or fucking David Otunga here?
I'm not sure. Possibly. Though I would have preferred those three to Nash. Side note, a couple of other comic book graphic novels you should look into: Kingdom Come, great story and incredible art, and The Killing Joke, which defined a Batman character for the better part of 20 years, and is a great story. Well, I'm aware of The Killing Joke. May read that one day.
Have you read any Watchmen yet?
No, I've got the big quiz tomorrow, so I've been revising for that.
Quizzing.
And he has no other time to do anything.
Well, working, get home, watch The Office, go to bed, mate. So
Watch The Office. Watch The Office. Go to bed.
so I'll probably start reading it next week.
Eat, sleep, rent, repeat.
I have a second email. It is from Richie the Giant.
Okay.
He doesn't list his height, so I don't know if he's a literal giant. But anyway, he says, "Hey Joe, where are you going with that gun in your hand?"
Joe, honestly, Joe has never heard that one before. Thank you. He hates when people say that to him.
I don't get it.
It's from a Jimi Hendrix song
called "Hey Joe."
Oh, sorry.
Where you going with that gun in your hands? Ba-doo, ba-doo, boo.
I didn't bother to email to say that.
Go on.
Hang on, I'm not done. I really enjoy the show and I ought to email in regularly. Yes.
You should.
I would like it if you and Barry sang the Frasier theme song. The Frasier theme song for everyone. Well, maybe we will.
Well, it has to happen spontaneously. We don't take requests.
Force it.
No. No.
On the subject of television, I know you all love The Simpsons, or at least the old episodes. Very true.
Uh-huh.
But in what order would you and the other chaps rate the grown-up cartoons such as Futurama, Family Guy, American Dad, South Park, and The Simpsons, etc.? Personally, I enjoy Futurama for its zany characters such as Zap Brannigan and the Robot Devil. Thanks, Richie the Giant. Thanks for that, Richie.
Thanks, Rich.
I mean, obviously, Old Simpsons is a clear winner for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Out of those.
Yeah, definitely.
Futurama, I did enjoy Futurama. I thought it was a very good show.
Yeah, has those.
I didn't see its closing sort of dozen or so episodes. I trailed off there.
I watched the last 2 seasons.
Are they good?
Yeah, very good.
You mean the most recent ones? Or?
Yeah, the comeback seasons.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, but during its original run, loved it.
Yeah, really good.
It was kind of interesting that they were really turning out the great content as The Simpsons was going down. I realized it's two separate crews, but I thought that was a very interesting.
American Dad.
Sorry,
I haven't seen much of.
American Dad's excellent.
I've always quite enjoyed it. Just never got that into it.
Yeah.
Family Guy started quite strong the first couple of seasons, and then it quickly became
dreadful. Yeah, it was good up until I would say the first 3 seasons. I think after
season
4,
it got cancelled twice, I think.
Yeah,
and I think
they should have let it die.
Yeah,
because Family Guy routinely now is since the Cleveland show died, and I just stopped watching Simpsons completely. Family Guy is by far the worst weekly television show I watch.
Yeah,
and I watch Raw.
South Park is a weird one. I've never really, except when it originally started back in the 90s, and it was like a huge fad, and everyone knew about it. I watched it then, but I've never really watched it since. Right. All the later ones. So I hear it's a good show.
I quite like South Park. I think it peaked around season 8, and then up until about season 10, it was still quite good. And then between 11 and 15, it got poor. I think the last season was very strong again. Probably the best season since its peak. So rather than like all these shows like Family Guy, Simpsons, all hit a peak and then go straight downhill, this is sort of having a little bit of a regrowth in terms of quality. So
yeah,
South Park's good. I noticed he's not listed Rick and Morty, which I've been.
Well, he's mainly looking at the old school ones, I think.
Okay. Yeah, he's kind of looking at the big names, the big dogs.
Rick and Morty will be there.
I haven't watched American Dad since like season 1, but I very much like season 1.
Yeah, American Dad is routinely very strong, which is funny because in my house we always put on Family Guy, and then moan about how terrible it was, and then put on American Dad and go, "This is how it should be," and the same routine happens every week. We're like, "Oh, it's good, it's good." Why is the other one never like this? There's only so many times they can go, "Shut up, Meg," before you're like, "Why are these people so horrible?"
You think that's bad?
Peter!
Yeah, thanks, Richie. That's the emails for the week.
Lovely, good emails.
Wonderful. Well done, lads.
Good hustle.
And now begins the wrestling portion of the podcast. What a mad week it's been in wrestling.
Wah, wah, wah.
Where do we start?
Hang on, yeah. So we're gonna do the wrestling news now, everyone.
Royal Rumble, I suppose.
Oh yeah, Royal Rumble. Yeah, before we even get into the news.
The Royal Rumble.
Well, the Royal Rumble kicked off in fine fashion with Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, excellent.
Wonderful match. Yeah.
This is where we're going to have an impromptu explain. Wait a second here. What am I going to wonder about Taker? The Brothers Discussion / Debate Khali. Because I thought the Royal Rumble was a good pay-per-view. And Joe and Barry thought it was a...
And everyone else in
And everyone else in the world.
No, wait, I didn't
Triple
think
H.
I didn't think it was a bad pay-per-view. I disagreed with you because you were
Going mad on Twitter.
yeah, you were bemoaning the fact that people were turning their nose up at the Orton Cena thing and that the people were heckling and all this jazz. And I was saying that I enjoyed the show, but I also respected their
You
reasoning behind it
empathized with the fans.
to an extent. Yeah. We'll get into it because I'm sure there was a number of different things that will probably divide us. But yes, Bryan and Bray Wyatt, really, really great. The rest of the clan were ejected fairly early, and so it just left the two of them to batter the shite out of each other for the duration.
Definitely a match of the year contender, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it's off to a
Early
great
match of the
start.
year contender.
Well, it's January, yeah.
Yeah, but if this happened last year, I'd say, yeah, one of the best matches of the year.
Do you want to give it best match of last year? Or?
No, because it didn't happen last year.
Okay.
Oh, getting all pedantic,
Yeah, no.
all particular.
No, we used to have our awards go up to February, so good.
In the old days, yeah.
Yeah, why don't we just put them up to like May this year?
Let's just have it be 2-year awards. Just
That'd be good.
rolling awards. We just keep giving out more awards. Interesting.
Can I just say as well before we start, this was the first pay-per-view ever since I started watching wrestling 18 years ago. The first ever pay-per-view I paid for.
Why did you pick this one to arbitrarily?
On Sky Box Office, because the Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah.
And I
see, now this is where we're gonna have to explain debate, right? Because people, you were annoyed at the disgruntled fans, and as much as, and even though I disagree with you, I'm also kind of on your side because I take umbrage with people who pay money to watch either live or on pay-per-view and then get annoyed, even though you should know at this stage, you know what you're getting. You know what you're getting. But they buy it because, oh, well, it's the Royal Rumble. Oh, well, of course I'll spend $5,000 to go to WrestleMania because it's WrestleMania, but I'm not going to enjoy it.
I am going to... There was an article I read where it's sort of a petition they're trying to get to have fans riot, quote-unquote, at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And it goes, you can riot in one of two ways. One, if you're attending the show, stand up in your seat and turn around.
Organised riot.
Show your back to the camera and don't watch the match. Or two, if you're watching at home, just turn off your TV. So once you've paid your money, then
How are they going to know the TV's off? You can't tell that.
they don't care if your TV is off or not. You've paid their money already.
Yeah.
It's not it. Don't buy the show. It's
Oh,
a good way of throwing for a street.
cretins.
Oh, it's like it's vote with your wallet. Spend your money elsewhere, like, I don't know, perhaps on a nice bottle of sherry. Oh, baby, hear the blues are calling. Scrambled eggs.
Spanish.
Now let's get that dog off the fucking...
Oh, that's me.
Why is the dog playing the piano?
Ross, why are you shagging all them blokes, Ross? You flag.
Oh, Daphne, that's not how we make the coffee. Bloody hell, mister.
I've never watched Frasier, so I don't know what's happening.
How have you never watched Frasier?
I don't know. It's never thing.
Still on Channel 4, everybody.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you ever have Paramount Comedy back in the day? It was always on.
Let's say I've only seen up to season 3 of Friends.
Oh, God.
That's impossible. Do you own a television? Hey, you gonna go have sex with a woman and eat a meatball?
How you doing?
And then the rest of us are all annoying.
Can I be any more annoying?
In retrospect, that is like 6 of the most hateable cunts ever.
No, they're not.
Ross and Monica are completely intolerable. Rachel's character was even that she was a bitch. Phoebe is like, who would hang out with someone like Phoebe in real life? And then Chandler's like, well, Chandler's okay. Chandler's basically, you know, yeah, exactly, yeah. Everyone relates to him. Yeah, fuck the rest of those people. Anyway, Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt
had an excellent match, worth the price of admission alone.
Yes, fine, sure.
It was great. It was excellent. It was so good. If this was on, I'll tell you what. If this was on WrestleMania, this match exactly, even if it opened WrestleMania, probably would be looked on at the end of the year as one of those best of the year matches. Because people, the term match of the year is thrown around so flippantly nowadays.
If this was on a Japanese pay-per-view, Dave Mills would be giving it 5 stars. You know what he's like.
Honestly, it would be 4.5 for me, no problem.
I'd give it 4-ish, around a 4.
Oh, I thought it was stellar. I mean, Bray Wyatt brought it as well. Like, don't give all the applause to Daniel Bryan.
Especially that finish.
Oh, especially the whole fucking match.
Well, especially the finish. That's not how especially works, Paul. That's not how the word works. Especially means one bit.
The finish was...
Niles, please learn to use the adjectives rightly, Niles.
Yeah, the finish was great. The crowd were into it.
Yeah, they were red hot for this one.
This was like a perfect opener for a pay-per-view. This is how you do it. You get the crowd popped, the crowd rocking. Although technically it wasn't the opener because the New Age Outlaws won the tag team titles in the pre-show for some reason. I guess
Really old.
I better call my GP. Forgot my pills. I guess the New Age Outlaws even still heels.
That's completely ambiguous. I'm not sure.
Because they turned heel on Punk. Maybe that's why CM Punk left. He's not putting up with this. New Age Outlaws bullshit. Give Hunters, they're Hunter's friends, so he's leaving the company now because they turned on him on that Raw 2 weeks ago. And now they come out and they do their spiel, and the crowd are loving it. The crowd are saying it along. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, are they supposed to be heels? I don't know.
It's the same as the whole authority. They act like faces, but in a way they're supposed to be heels.
Yeah. And then they just won the tag team titles, so I guess they're sticking around for the time being.
I was trying to think of who they could sort of drop them to.
I'd say they're going to lose them back to the Rhodes.
Well, we don't know because Cody and Goldust had a bit of back and forth at the Rumble where one was accidentally eliminated by the other. Teasing dissension. But anyway, first match was really excellent, really good. I'd give it 6 stars out of 7.
Very good.
What was the second match?
The second match was the Brock Lesnar Big Show thing, which we previously discussed.
I enjoyed it.
I thought it was quite boring.
I mean, I'll always enjoy Brock Lesnar killing people with weapons, but
Why doesn't he just beat him in a match?
he did.
Yeah, no, why didn't he just beat him in a match? Why do they have to have this whole charade with the
They
chairs?
have to build him up for Undertaker. That's
Yeah,
So how do you build him up by having him
I
have
do
to
agree
use a
with Joe.
chair?
I do agree with Joe in that. Yeah, he should have had to just destroy him in a match using his big fists.
He hit him with a chair 25 times and then still got knocked out.
Yeah. I don't think they did the best job with this.
All because Big Show, I don't know, has to be kept strong for his big main event run later in the year.
I almost would have preferred if they had attack him for the match, like he did with the cheap shot, pounding him on the ground, and then he just keep beating him until the Big Show just couldn't. And then they don't even have the match. That's just it. He just beat the Big Show up so badly that Big Show they could have saved time on 4 hours of chair shots by having Big Show do a stretcher job after maybe a 6 or 7 minute just beat down. Maybe even do the Kimura if they want to do an arm injury.
Yeah, that was weird. And so was the lack of stretcher. There's a couple of weird things about this match. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they did a good job of establishing Brock. Although Brock's already established as a dangerous fighter, man. But I think they could have done it in a more effective way, especially if they're building for Undertaker. What's the chair shots doing? What does that show? If anything, is a weakness that he needed to use the chair shots to beat the Big Show.
Well, no, because he's a big fucking scary, dangerous man who looked very intimidating.
Yeah, but
no one's going to say, "Oh, well, you used the chair, you pansy."
He needed to use a chair shot for over and over again to beat a man who was dressed as a baby on Raw the other week.
I don't think it's that he needed to. It's just he did because he's a bit of a cunt.
Well, no, because it would have been established on Raw the previous weeks that every time he tried to beat up the Big Show would just throw him onto his head.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, what's the story being told here?
Well, because the Undertaker match is probably inevitably going to be some kind of street fight, so.
I suppose.
Or I mean, I think the Punk one last year wasn't even. They just don't have rules in those matches. They just apply the referee's going to let it go. 'Cause such a big occasion, yeah. I guess.
I mean, it's not dampened my anticipation for Brock Taker at all. But
no, looking forward to that. Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't as boring or dull as, say, Bret Hart Vince McMahon.
No, of course not. No, I mean, it was also infinitely shorter.
I thought it was a fine little segment that what they needed to get out of it, whatever way they did it, was Brock walking out having destroyed the Big Show. I guess this point they get across was maybe that Brock is this killer with no compassion or no.
Yeah.
So he just kept beating the Big Show with the chairs. They broke a chair, which was quite a good visual. So yeah, I mean, overall, I'd give it a positive rather than a negative.
I think they just shouldn't have bothered having the match. Just, beat the shit out of him and walk out would have been more effective.
Yeah, I agree. And then we had Randy Orton, John Cena. Which the crowd just would not give even the slightest chance to.
No.
I mean, as it turned out, the match was not good.
Well, it's hard to say, isn't it? Because it's not like I was really paying attention to the match on any level.
Well, for a company that puts so much stock in telling a story and psychology, the selling and psychology went out the fucking window at the end when John Cena would take his own finisher and his own submission and then leap to his feet and hit an RKO and leap into a pin. Like, he jumped onto the pinfall. This is a man who's supposedly just took a freaking beating. Yeah. There was no selling whatsoever in the final spots of this match. Jumping up, hitting finishers willy-nilly, and then the Wyatts came out and cost the match. I mean, I think it was a bad match. I thought it was a very average match until the ending where the selling.
I thought the match was no disqualification.
No.
It was ambiguously worded. They were talking about how there has to be a winner. They definitely said there's supposed to be no run-ins. They definitely say that. Then they had one. Okay, so I think they said that, but what they were saying was no bullshit. There's going to be a winner, pinfall or submission. So they weren't calling it no DQ, but people were assuming it was. I'm not sure what the ruling was, but yeah, I mean it didn't come into play.
Well, Stephanie McMahon, when announcing the match, said it was a traditional winner, someone must win match. So I took that to be like a regular singles match. But I guess under the assumption that were there something that would normally result in a DQ, they would just wave off and say no, there must be a winner. I don't know. It was, as Barry said, it was too ambiguous and not sure. Yeah, the only thing I didn't like about the match, as I said, was the almost PWG level no selling in the final stages of the match. What I didn't like about it was, as soon as the match started, the crowd started chanting boring. And
that opening bit was pretty boring.
Well, that's also true.
They didn't even wait until it was boring. They didn't give it a chance.
Yeah, but the concept is boring.
Not yet. 9 times out of 10, I would agree, because I don't agree with this shitting on things. Not giving anyone a chance. Big E Langston or someone's out there and you decide you're bored, so you're not going to give him a chance. I don't agree with that. But if it's John Cena and Randy Orton, it's not like you don't know what's going to happen or you've never seen it before. I think it was a rejection of the idea, and I also think it was the fact that they have had a million matches and very rarely are they good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but again, that comes to the point of, well, vote with your wallet then. You know what I mean?
But yeah, exactly, I agree.
Yeah, to a degree.
I just feel like, fair enough if the match is boring, you by all rights chant boring.
And it's always a case of what if you're a big like Brian and Punk fan and you want to go to a show to see
Well,
them.
yeah, you're right, but I still feel like if you're, and I don't want to get into Twitter level. Well, if you're not a real fan, but if you'd paid money to go see Royal Rumble, give the match 5 minutes before you turn boring.
Or just sit there in silence
Could turn out to be good
if you're not enjoying it.
It just there's this culture that started to seep in since the night after WrestleMania this year, and maybe the year before, where I think the fans are too snarky for their own good in a way. Where everything now is, whenever a match is bad now, it's Randy Savage, JBL, and the same thing happened on Raw the next night, and it's just something I just don't like. And I felt there was like the crowd are a little too wink wink nudge nudge, for like almost like full of themselves. They're like, oh well, look at us, we're doing funny chants now.
Well, yeah, I mean that gets on my nerves. Yeah, the idea that it's being done to be funny. Although again, that is kind of why I would cut this lot some slack, because it did feel more akin to, we want this guy. I don't know if productive is the wrong word, but it didn't feel just like they were trying to be cool so much as they knew what they wanted and they were trying to get that message across. And of all the matches to do it during, it's hard to have sympathy for Randy Orton and John Cena.
Because after WrestleMania, when they were fandangoing during the Randy Orton match, I can't remember who he was wrestling, but
it was Sheamus.
Yeah, that was. It's not like they wanted someone else and they were protesting. That was just them being bored and being dicks.
Basically. Now, for example, the Daniel Bryan chants during the match, for example, no problem with that at all. If they're cheering for who they want, if they just out there, they want to see Daniel Bryan, cheer Daniel Bryan. But it was when the match started, they did a lockup. Randy Orton caught him in a headlock and did a headlock takedown. Boring. The match had just fucking started. Give them a chance.
We Want Divas was quite funny though.
Yeah. I bet he was thrilled with that one.
We Want Divas.
It's like Undertaker, We Want Angle, and Y2J, and you both suck, and end this match, and this is awful, and everything under the sun. Every bad chant, they got it. And
I don't think it was awful, though. I think that's an overreaction.
No, I mean, by the end, it looked like it was picking up, and it was just like, it's... On the one hand, I want to watch this match in a vacuum, but on the other hand, that's not really how wrestling works, so you have to take it for what it is.
I would say it's probably the most I've enjoyed an Orton-Cena match in years, though.
Yeah. Well,
for an Orton Cena match, it was all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like a lot of the Orton Cena matches were almost bordering on stinkers back in the day. They just don't seem to have great chemistry with each other.
No, I mean I prefer them in wrestling matches. I feel like they have a tendency to try and get
kill each other.
Creative in quotation marks when they have a gimmick, and that often reflects poorly. But anyway. Orton ended up retaining via Wyatt distraction.
I watched the Royal Rumble where they had a big face-off in the middle of it the other day.
Was that the Raw SmackDown face-off, was it?
No,
I think it was only like 2 years ago or something. It was like Orton had just turned face, and they did the big WrestleMania sign.
Warrior.
Oh, and
crickets
specifically.
Yeah, and everyone just sat there in silence. Okay,
I think it was in 2005, possibly. When before in 2005 they had that big Raw versus SmackDown feud. Yeah. Where during the Royal Rumble, I think they had a stand up with all the Raw guys and all the SmackDown guys.
Yeah.
Back then that was actually a cool concept because they had kept the rosters very separate for like 3 years. Funny to think back now how fuck that shit. Never mind the Raw Super Show. Everyone's on Raw now. Yeah, Orton Cena.
What was next?
The funny thing is now is they've spent that. Again now, the Orton Cena thing. Like, they can never do that again, surely.
You'd think, wouldn't you?
You would, because they had done the Never Again match, and then they did it again.
They've done it several times. The Never thing was like in 2009, and they've had the matches on like television since then. And they're both in the chamber, but that's nitpicking.
Oh, they are.
So yeah, that was that. Bray Wyatt laid out Cena after the fact. So there you go. That's your.
You know, the one thing that peeved me a bit about this pay-per-view was they did the old picking balls out of a tumbler gimmick
Yeah.
on the pre-show, not during the pay-per-view.
So everyone wants the return of the number tumbler. So put it on the YouTube where everyone can watch it and say, hey.
Or put on Raw.
They never did it on Raw. They always did it on the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind doing it on Raw even.
Yes.
I don't know. I just feel like do something that makes the pay-per-view stand out from all the other pay-per-views. A little preparation for the pay-per-view. I know they have the "it's in the numbers" video package, but just have little packages where the guys maybe win a qualifying match and then they go to the tumbler, get the number, they go, all right, got the number, and whatever. Just a little 30 seconds where they
did have that Shield promo where they were discussing their numbers.
where Roman Reigns is flubbing his lines. Like,
Yeah, what number you got, Dean?
I ain't gonna tell you what.
You know I got 2 numbers.
That was a good line. Cheers.
Maybe I got all the numbers.
I got all the numbers.
Dean Ambrose, great.
And then we had the Royal Rumble, of course, which I thought was fine. I think it was bad. I think it was really good. I thought it was, I was perfectly happy with the Royal Rumble. The fans weren't, of course, when Rey Mysterio came out. Poor Rey Mysterio. He should have looked up and went, "Oh, Eddie, you got me again. Oh,
Viva la raza!
oh Eddie."
Remember that? Eddie, get out the piano. Oh, baby, I hear the blues are calling. Oh, but yeah, I thought the Rumble was very middle of the road. I was not blown away by
I know
it.
a lot of people were disappointed calling it
First
the
half was
worst
quite-
Rumble ever.
No, the first half was quite dull, I thought, and then it picked up quite a bit. Ironically, around the time Kevin Nash came in, I don't think he was responsible for it, but I think the big problem was because they had Reigns eliminate 12 people. It means there aren't a lot of eliminations to be kind of shared around.
Yeah, he came in quite late as well. He was 15, I think.
So you don't get many big spots because of that. So
Yeah, I thought it was very weak on the surprises. We got Nash, who we got 3 years ago. We didn't get,
Bourne, as you had said.
But yeah, I was getting bored.
They, for some reason, kept Christian off. An extra
Until SmackDown. Like why?
they probably just thought of it.
They had to make room for that 4-second JBL cameo.
Oh, that was
And like, God, what was the point of Alexander Rusev in there?
I like him in it though.
If he's not going to toss one person,
But also, they're not doing anything with him. He wasn't on Raw or anything.
I think he was on SmackDown. He did something on SmackDown.
Oh,
I think.
did he? Okay.
But I don't watch SmackDown. But yeah, so I think he was just there to catch Kofi Kingston
Yeah, probably.
and have an excuse to put him on the barricade because he does a Muay Thai thingy, as opposed to just dropping him because that's how the fucking Rumble works. But anyway,
I like the Kofi spot this year. He did actually do 2 this year.
yeah, that was good.
Yeah, quite
I enjoyed that as always. What else do we get in this Rumble? So we got Nash. I think Nash and JBL were like the only 2 surprises. JBL
we got-
selling his own elimination was good.
so Sheamus as well.
Yeah, and Corporate Kane.
Oh yeah,
What was that?
With-
I guess.
I tell you what, Kane looked fucking enormous.
Or fat or
No, Jack.
no ripped.
Yeah. For a
Yeah.
man his age to come out looking like he did
Who has been as fat as he has been.
is a little dubious. I don't know whether it's because we normally see him in his little tights or whatever, but him in his dress pants, he looked fucking huge. And also he didn't have his gloves on, so he's got these huge hands as well. I don't know, Kane just looked fucking enormous. And he also got dumped immediately. And then just stayed outside the ring for half an hour.
Yeah, and then wandered past the camera halfway through.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just come back out later?
I don't know, couldn't he have easily just ran through the crowd? I thought that's what happened in the
Yeah.
show, that he ran through the crowd or something. And then I found out that he was just there.
It's weird.
But generally I thought the Royal Rumble was fine. I thought the pacing was quite good. There was often Royal Rumbles you get too many times where it's just dead, where there's no action going on, it's just guys lying in the corners. But I thought there's always something happening in this one. So while there was not a lot of surprises, I thought the action itself was a little bit more fast-paced than we're used to. I thought it was pretty decent.
Sheamus got a surprisingly positive reaction.
Yeah.
I mean, until the end of the match when it was evident that Bryan wasn't coming out, and then nobody got a positive reaction.
Except Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was like the best of two.
yeah. It was like
Expression.
the not Batista
The
cheers.
lesser of two evils.
Yeah, lesser of two evils. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I didn't know. I didn't even mind the surprise we had. I mean, they weren't super like in the past with your Bob Backlunds and Drew Carey and even those wacky surprises. But Kane I thought was a nice surprise. JBL even, although they had just done the commentators, all got get into Royal Rumble like 2 years before, so that was a little like the commentary gimmick again. I would have liked to see JBL actually do something as well when he got in. That would have been a little.
I was expecting him to lariat someone.
Yeah, I think that would have been a little bit better. The fact that he was just tossed out so quickly. I mean, it was funny that he did the no sell afterwards, but it would have been nice to see him do something. Roman Reigns, of course, did very well. The one thing that I took from this pay-per-view as well was how excellent a job. For all the people complaining about the negatives of this pay-per-view, they did such a good job of building two new stars, Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent job. Because Bray Wyatt won an excellent match, looked excellent in the match, and then cost John Cena the title. Probably the best night in terms of climbing the ladder and putting himself over in a way he's had in his career, I would say. And the same for Roman Reigns. I thought they did a great job. After the pay-per-view was over, I took from it, Bray Wyatt now has turned from someone where he'd come out and go, ugh, to someone where he'd come out and go, okay, watch Raw now, Bray Wyatt's on. And the same with Roman Reigns. So the Roman Reigns I wasn't so down on before like I was with Bray Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
The only fear I would have about Roman Reigns is the fact
He's not very good, or
no, the fact that he's the 12-person elimination record holder now. That they gave him that record when he's just not quite established yet. Like it was when he got it. Because what happens now if Roman Reigns turns out to be like a Bobby Lashley, where he never quite connects at that main level and then fucks off in a few years? Forever now you have that Roman Reigns until he leaves, and they go, oh, Big E, you're eliminating 13 this year.
Yeah, then they have Cade do 13.
yeah, I think they could have had him eliminate 9 people or like 8 people, and it would have been just as effective.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, you eliminated JBL and the midget thing and some other
that's
nobodies.
the other as well, Torito.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Better than either of the other two, to be honest.
I like Torito in it.
Oh God.
No, he was good.
Shoddy shit. Oh yeah, and Batista looked awful.
Yeah, he did.
Oh my God. Well, he looked awful both physically and in the ring.
He got in, and he looked like one of the smallest guys in there.
He had these little shorts on as well.
Little legs and
because he's a shooter now,
head and.
One thing I found interesting was
He looks ancient.
they didn't do the Brock Lesnar style MMA shorts with him. He's almost got like the GSP little tighty shorts, which
Yeah, well, because to go with his tight jeans, to show off his little legs,
his little chicken legs.
his Benoit arm proportioned legs.
Yeah, I mean his body isn't quite at Ric Flair levels of sagginess, but
No.
if his pecs get any looser, they're gonna have to call him Bratista because
or
ooh,
Bart tit sag. What?
Boobtista. Because his muscle is not quite where it once was anymore, and it's like his skin is a little too loose for his body. I mean, he's still in exceptionally good shape, but it's he's old.
He seems to have like the kind of MMA gear on as well. Like when Brock came back and he was wearing MMA gear.
Yeah, well, I realized at the same time that they can't have the two people with the MMA gimmick, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That's Brock's thing. If someone else starts doing it, that would lessen. By the way, Brock's gut looked really big. Was that just me?
Yeah, he did look a bit hefty.
But like his stomach especially was like bloated. That was weird looking. I don't know. Anyway, maybe it was just me. But yeah, Batista looked...
Maybe he was in a chicken wing eating competition. He lost out to that single mother.
Brock
Oh,
Lesnar's just F5 to 3 30-stone woman. Yeah, Batista apparently has forgotten how to wrestle since he was in WWE 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Because he did not do a single thing that looked good here. I noticed, by the way, on Twitter, Joe, that you've sort of agreed with me on the plastic surgery.
Oh yeah,
His face is weird looking, doesn't
he's
it?
got to add some Botox in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Botox. No, it doesn't work. Never mind.
What are you gonna say?
I'm gonna do a Botox Batista pun.
Botox stuff.
Yeah.
Are you saying boo or boo talks?
Yeah. So I mean, the crowd when poor little Rey Mysterio came out, the crowd realized that Daniel Bryan.
Are they saying boo or booyaka?
The funny thing was that like he came out to 29 and I was like, oh god, neck cutting time here. And it's like, okay, so there's 3 people who I knew were going to be in because they advertised Xavier Woods ahead of time. I was like, he's not getting in, doesn't matter, whatever. So it's down to Big E and Ray. And I was like, well, they had a video before the match where Ray cut a promo. They had a little video package of people doing little old school promos. And I was like, okay, so Ray has to be in. They're not going to do a video unless it's a mega swerve, which I don't think. And when Big E's music hit, I did the mental arithmetic and I was like, oh, no way Brian's coming in.
I actually looked up the list of people coming when it got to 24, I think.
Yeah.
Because they had the list on WWE.com. And I was like, okay, we got Xavier Woods, we got And then someone came out that wasn't on the list. I forget who it was. Sheamus, possibly?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh dear. They're not going to drop 2 of these names, because it was like Rey Mysterio, Batista, Big E, as you said. I was like, oh, Daniel Bryan's not coming. Daniel Bryan is not coming. But then, on the other hand, if you think, and I always don't like to bring up this point, but we're wrestling, quote-unquote, real. Daniel Bryan was just in a 20-minute match, which takes a lot out of you, and he took a finisher into the barricade, and then took the finisher again, and was pinned.
Yeah.
How's he going to come out and compete again? And I know they brought up that on Raw next week, or the next night, where they're like, I want to fight again. Well, we did it for your safety, Daniel. But just in terms of continuity, he had this grueling match where he was beaten, had his head smashed into the barricade. If he came out running down for the Royal Rumble, there would have been...
Cena's come back from him, he's been DDT'd on the floor and won the match 3 minutes later.
Yeah, but don't apply the rules of John Cena to the rules
to
of
regular humans.
Oh, you meant if it was real, so obviously not John Cena, mate. Yeah.
No, but it's just if Daniel Bryan came out no-selling this match from earlier, for me, I would have been a little like...
Yeah, but it wouldn't be no-selling at the point. It would be like, oh, he's beat up, but he's still going to try and win the Rumble. It's not like he was dead.
He was pretty dead.
He was pretty dead, yeah.
He just looked dead. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't mind so much that Bryan wasn't in it because I had sort of accepted that he wasn't going to be. Even before the pay-per-view started, that was obviously something he wasn't going to be in it. A lot of people apparently, like Barry said, didn't get the memo, which I believe was posted on the same website as the Garth Brooks memo.
Yeah.
Memos.com.
Yeah.
And,
.ie.
Everyone thought he was going to be in it for some reason. And then when he came out, of course, boo, they weren't happy with Ray. Poor Ray Mysterio.
Poor Ray, yeah.
Oh my god.
Like he's the booker, so yeah, they booed him.
Are you saying boo or booker?
So I mean, once it came down to those guys, it was like Reigns, Batista, Sheamus, Ray, a couple of other scrubs, and the fans just wanted nothing to do with that. They started resoundingly booing, and they would cheer a little bit when Reigns would take down Batista, and then Batista won, and they was very, very angry.
But the fact that Bryan is so kind of popular at the moment, and with the booking earlier on where he just lost completely cleanly and had no kind of comeback or promo or any sort of redemption, it almost signals that, like, oh, well, he must be in the Rumble, because otherwise, what are they doing?
Yeah, because I mean, that is their logic usually.
Yeah.
You know, that modern WWE logic is so-and-so can lose if they're going to turn or win a title or win a briefcase or whatever, you know, because people will forget. So, yeah, evidently not. So that was the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, and then Batista after the show was apparently flipping the fans off, mocking the yes chants.
Yeah.
He was not a happy baby.
That big happy 50-year-old Botoxy baby.
Not at all.
So that was Royal Rumble, everyone.
Yeah.
That was Royal Rumble. It will be remembered for some time. Oh, and from there, God almighty, we go into an absolutely mental week of news.
Yeah.
kicking off with the apparent departure of CM Punk from WWE.
CM Punk took his gi and he went home. And now The Rock's back. No. Yeah, he's gone apparently.
Yep. So the deal here is that he was at the building for Raw, but he did not show up on Raw, and he told Vince McMahon a half hour before it started he was not happy and he was leaving. And the rumored reasons behind it are numerous, but it seems to be an amalgamation of things, both physical and mental burnout, being unhappy with the fact that he has one goal left as a wrestler, and that is to main event WrestleMania, and apparently that's not going to happen anytime soon. Not this year, as he was penciled in to face Triple H at WrestleMania in a non-main event this year. And it was just a collection of things. He was not happy with anything, very burnt out. He is not stuck for money, apparently, and so he just walked out. And obviously that's a big no-no, although the last update I read was that Vince McMahon does want to try and get him back. He is not terminating his contract. Punk is employed still until, or he's under contract rather, until July. And he'd been telling people that he wasn't going to resign. But he did not even wait to not resign. He just went home now. And so Vince is apparently still trying to get him back, not terminating his contract, which is surprisingly cool-headed. I'm surprised we haven't had his contract termination notice up on the website yet. But it's early days yet. And so that's where we are.
Yeah. I'm a little hesitant to really discuss it too much, just because, not because I believe it's a work necessarily, but you don't know what's going to happen in this week. Like I'm sure they're trying to get in contact with him somehow, and they could come to some agreement. He could be back within 2 weeks. We don't know what's happening.
But why would he come back unless they're going to put him in the main event? What would be his motivation for coming back?
Yeah, what would his? I mean, like,
because a feud with Kane and Triple H is not particularly enticing, I imagine, for anyone.
Last time they plucked him from sort of
maybe Zack Ryder.
He has not retired. Okay.
They plucked him from sort of like world title / mid card nothingness to where he is today. So last time they actually gave him something. Now what he wants is the next level, and he's not going to get it, and they can't throw money at it to make it go away. So I think first of all, people telling themselves this is a work are deluding themselves. I think that's fact number one. And people thinking, oh, well, they can still work it out and he might be back for Mania, are also deluding themselves, because the most believable thing about this story is that he's fed up. That is the most believable thing. And so it's not going to go away because there's nothing they can do, or there's nothing they'd be willing to do. They're not gonna make him John Cena tomorrow if he comes back. And so I don't think he will come back.
The thing about it is, when obviously the thing is he wants to main event WrestleMania, and it seems like of all the past years, this was the year that it would be most likely for him, because there's not The Rock coming in. There's not that big outside.
Well, Batista kind of.
Well, Batista essentially is doing it this year.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you can argue either side. I honestly see their side when it comes to Batista winning the Rumble and so on. Because they brought Batista back. And Batista popped a huge rating for his return.
Wow.
And he did.
Relatively. What was the rating this week?
But I'm not talking about this week. I'm talking about his return rating.
Right, so what?
Because that would have confirmed their thought. Like, I assume when they brought him back, their plan was he would withdraw Rumble.
Yeah.
So they brought him back.
But the problem is not bringing him back at all, not whether he wins the Rumble or not.
Yeah, I know they have this.
If they're going to bring people back, the likelihood is, they're going to win the Rumble or whatever.
Yeah, no, I totally get you, but I'm just saying that the fact they brought him back and he popped this huge rating, and he got quite a good reaction upon his first return.
Yeah.
I think that sort of just confirmed to WWE that they were right to have, okay, their plans are going, it's going well so far, he'll win the Rumble, not anticipating the backlash. You mean backlash?
Extreme rules.
that he would get upon winning the Royal Rumble. And CM Punk, he's almost been treading water a little bit for the last few months anyway, with the Paul Heyman feud with Ryback. It's not been a huge year for him so far. So, it seems like with the whole Daniel Bryan push, it seems like CM Punk had been the forgotten man lately,
Yeah.
almost. And the Kane feud. I mean, if for someone as driven as him to be told you're feuding with Kane now, a non-wrestler, first of all, quite far down the card, and to me it seemed like they were almost going to go the Kane route for WrestleMania more so than Kane and then Triple H WrestleMania. Despite what's been reported as the Mania card.
Yeah,
I just got the
may
feeling that
have been that they shifted Triple H to Bryan. Maybe that was the
but
impetus.
even over the past few months, given the storylines, I feel like Daniel Bryan Triple H makes more sense as a WrestleMania match anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
Despite the fact that they're apparently only doing it because of the backlash at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, none of this Mania card makes any sense. Like, what? Why would they think Batista Orton would be a big match? Why do they think Punk Triple H would be a match people want to see? John Cena Bray Wyatt, I don't know where that's come from. But
Yeah.
Nowhere.
I mean, yeah, it's almost as if WrestleMania is being booked despite the storylines, as opposed to the storylines building to a WrestleMania. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, in the past WrestleMania, they used to say that the road to WrestleMania started almost the night at and after Survivor Series, but that's been pushed back to Royal Rumble now. Whereas, like Bray Wyatt, John Cena, there was no even hint of that before Royal Rumble. You know, it just out of the blue he turned up during John Cena's title match, cost a match, no build up to it whatsoever. Whereas if there was like even subtle hints to it over the past few months, it would make a lot more sense. And I think it would benefit the card overall, in terms of people being interested in it. But yeah, even with Batista just shows back on Raw 1 week, wins the Rumble the next, and now he's feuding with Randy Orton. But there's no history, there's no story to the feud. It's just circumstantial. And yeah, that's just it. So CM Punk had enough, and he's gone. for all intents and purposes, as far as we understand at this moment. There's not been he's been in Twitter silence as well, radio silence.
Well, of course, he's not stupid enough to make that mistake.
No, so there's not a lot of information going around aside from that he was frustrated and tired of it, and thus is gone home. And it's just a shame that we don't have WWE Confidential on TV anymore,
Indeed.
so that we could get the burial of CM Punk as told by Jim Ross, where I went CM Punk wedding, and he was my best friend. Sauce. So I don't know what. It's funny because I don't know what more we can discuss, because every time I listen to Wrestling Observer, Dave Meltzer going, well, you know, we're not much to say about it. I mean, it's really the biggest story in a while that in fact has the least information available about it. Like, we don't know what's happening.
yeah, I'm sure it'll come out at some point.
You know, speaking of which, Darren Young is up for a GLAAD award for appearing on the Ellen DeGeneres show.
What's the
For what?
award?
He was rubbish.
What's the category?
It's
Best outing.
No, it's best talk show appearance.
That is mental. There must have been nothing. Because he was incredibly awkward on that show.
There must be a lot of gay people on talk shows during the course of a year.
Ellen DeGeneres is on hers every time.
Oh, exactly. What's Graham Norton? Is he getting a look in, or?
Yeah.
Well, GLAAD is
Well, but I think they're probably going to give the award to someone who doesn't set him back 50 years.
Ooh, a lovely big cock. Oh. Well, is that setting them back, or is that
Mainstreamizing him.
not even mainstream, but is it progressive?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally.
You don't get a lot of gays in showbiz, so thank God. I think Graham Norton's blazing a trail.
Graham Norton's there to show that they're not just sparkles and cock, not at all.
No, but sparkles and cock isn't necessarily a bad aspect of gay culture.
Yes, but it's the one that everyone already knows about and overstates.
Well, good.
Particularly him.
Go on, Graham. Keep it up.
I'm not saying.
Not your penis, I mean.
But I'm just saying. Oh my god.
Erection. Oh.
Jesus. I'm just saying that I wouldn't give him a GLAAD award for best interview. Oh God! When you got little Martin Freeman on to talk about the Hobbit. Aw, have a glad award. Anyway, why did you mention that as a news story when we should be talking about the problem with heterosexuals, i.e., Matt Hardy and Remy Sky being allowed to mate, probably. They pummeled the shite out of each other on New Year's Day or Eve or whatever. TMZ reported. I don't know why it took them this long. So much for the internet and instant news. But yeah, that happened. Allegedly, they got restraining orders against each other at the time, but that has since been resolved, and they're smitten again. So whatever.
They're two weird-looking people.
Yeah.
They're not good mugshots. Matt Hardy's especially.
Matt Hardy, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
His head is like if you took Matt Hardy from 2002 and just resized the aspect of the photo to be like 200 times the width.
And then threw it into some nettles.
Drag it to a cactus patch.
Drag it to like a cactus shop.
Yeah, and Rebby, I mean, all made up and nice, she's lovely looking, but she was rough looking in that photo.
Yeah, she didn't doll herself up, and therefore she was not impressive to Paul Griffin.
She wasn't. I'm allowed to have that opinion.
Yeah, I know.
She was looking stripper rough.
Well, they usually do make themselves up, Paul. They don't just get on the stage with black eyes and stuff. Maybe they do after you give them a couple quid and you lure them in.
After throwing pennies on stage.
Making it rain. Sir, please stop.
My head is bleeding.
There's a change machine over there where we can get notes.
Well, no GLAD award coming my way.
No, or feminism award. Anyway, or PETA.
GLAD, not feminism as well. What's the A stand for? What does the A stand for in GLAD?
It's the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Discrimination.
Glay and Lesbian Alliance Against Discrimination.
Yeah, it's GLAAD.
It should be GALAAD.
Wasn't it also an all-women
No,
promotion?
no companies use and.
Oh, no, that was Glow.
Why is there no transgender being backed up by GLAD then? Why is there no T in GLAD?
Because, hang on, GLAD doesn't have to cover every non-heterosexual entity. There are other groups.
GLAD, you need to cover all the picadillos.
Okay, why don't you just go to some kind of dog home and go, why don't you look after cats?
Oh, God. Dogs? why are you bringing dogs into it?
What?
You're comparing gays and transsexuals to dogs and cats.
Because that's as ridiculous a comparison as Paul is making. Well, if you look out for gays, why don't you look after for trannies? They're basically the same thing.
Trannies, he's saying now.
I apologise, I redact that statement. Transgender individuals.
Transgender.
Okay.
It does include trans...
So, okay, hang on.
It does
GLAD,
include trans people, by the way.
GLAD is going to become...
Why are they not being represented in the name then?
Well, it's the Gay and Lesbian Alliance.
Yeah.
So it's an
like
alliance.
Justice League.
So it's the gay and lesbians fighting against defamation.
So it's okay. We'll put a T
of trans.
So it's glad.
So the gay and the lesbians are doing the fighting. It's sort of like, I don't know.
Hang on. We need to add an extra A in there because you're not accounting for the asexuals.
Yeah. Ideally, it would be
GLAD.
gay and lesbian and...
No company recognizes and or in or of as an actual letter.
Yeah, but it should be gay and lesbian and asexual and transgender. So it should be GLATAD.
Yeah, see, what I think you've done here, GLAD, and we've outed you, ironically enough, is that you have gone for the interesting and quirky acronym as opposed to actually speaking for
and
what
bisexuals.
And bisexual. Well, no, they're already covered by gay and lesbian.
Yeah, well, they're greedy anyway, so fuck them.
Did everything, double dipping, so to speak.
Yeah. Put too many fingers in the pie, as it were.
Oh, jeez. And that's also the pie, also the hot dog bun.
Well, actually, funny enough,
Oh God, where's this going?
No. When I was in Paris, I actually lived with a transgender woman for a while.
How have you never told us that before?
While I was doing our podcast, did that never come up?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did it tell me?
Was she called Paulina? Paula?
I don't remember the...
Did you ever hang out with her? And your friends never saw her?
I think it was Patricia.
Right.
No, really, really funny. I think she was from. God, where's she from?
She's always telling you jokes. Knock, knock.
I think she was from Thailand, actually. I think it was a Thai lady. But it was not a ladyboy. Completely.
You're making this up.
No, I swear to God. No, and then when she left, I actually took her room afterwards.
Wait, what was wrong with your room?
I was sharing a room previously.
So, okay. So
Because
who else was there?
rented Paris is very expensive.
Oh yeah, okay.
So yeah, I mean,
I can't believe I didn't know that. Okay. Anyway.
So I know real life gays, bisexual, and transgender. So glad, bring the award to me, please, for equality and best podcast.
Yeah,
gay
After
rights.
after that segment, we're definitely up for most aware and sensitive podcast. I'm certain of it. Anyway, speaking of gays, Sting might be on his way to WWE, and I'll go back right now and say that is not an accusation. That was a joke, and I meant nothing by it. So.
I bet after a night out, his dick stings a little bit. That's maybe where the name comes from.
Anyway, Sting is apparently very close to signing on that dotted line with WWE. In some kind of Legends contract.
The rumour today, though.
Go on.
The role he'll be taking.
Oh, yes, I did.
General manager of Raw.
Yeah.
What?
Apparently, they don't
he
want
has
to
got
debut him.
experience. He was general manager of Impact.
Well, exactly, yeah. I mean, he has tenure. They don't want to rush him into this year's WrestleMania, so they're probably going to put him in. That would be ridiculous. People don't want real estate Sting that they have on Impact. They want him sitting in the rafters looking at The Undertaker.
And then coming out for a 10-minute match.
And then coming out for a 10-minute match and then going
Leaving.
away forever. And then going in the Hall of Fame and then showing up on Old School Raw to beat up Heath Slater next year, and that's it.
Wasn't the appeal of Sting that he never spoke?
Well, yeah. Feels like forever ago, though. Like when I was like 6. Because it was when I was 6.
Yeah, now he's shutting on all week on Impact.
And then he never shuts the fuck up.
Ugh, shut up. Anyway, yeah, that's interesting.
I guess. Yeah, it's fairly almost done. I mean, this is more than just speculation. It is seemingly happening. So there you go. And he, I mean, I noted in my blog that I posted, TNA does this shit all the time where they write someone off and then bring them back 2 weeks later like it's nothing. They end careers like it's nobody's business over there and then bring them right back. But it would appear that this is legit. So there you go. So we will watch this space. It's not going to be this WrestleMania, evidently, or it's not going to be a match at this year's WrestleMania. So don't get your hopes up for that.
That's okay.
Listeners, it's definitely going to be. It's seemingly definitely the Undertaker and Brock.
I'd nearly prefer if they kept Sting back as that after WrestleMania, the day after WrestleMania surprise, you know?
Yeah,
Because it almost seems like the day after WrestleMania is almost as big a deal now as some of the pay-per-views. You know, it's like that yearly event, the day after Raw after WrestleMania.
yeah.
Yeah, I like to have little surprises here and there, like Brock returning, Umaga debuting, Goldberg debuting. Nice to have little things to look forward to.
Sky and WWE have continued their relationship for another 5 years. That will bring them into 30 altogether. No real news out of that, other than all the pay-per-views will be actual pay-per-views now on box office. So, Paul, you can get used to spending your money, baby.
No, we'll be stealing the shows, please, for free.
And people are curious as to whether or not that will affect the pay-per-views on the network in the UK. But WWE is already fucking off the pay-per-view providers in the US, so, I mean, they'll probably just do the same thing when it comes over here, so whatever.
Yeah.
Because the Sky deal also covers us, by the way, in Ireland, so...
Yeah, the only reason I paid for Rumble is because I was watching it live. Generally, when there's a pay-per-view, even if it's on Sky Sports, I just download it the next morning.
Any of you chaps watch TNA this week?
Yes.
I watched it with no sound because my speakers are broken on my telly. So
I watched Impact this week.
Well, the big news. Well, first of all, they were in Glasgow. They were in the UK. It was, quote unquote, live by the TNA definition, which means that they did. And I guess this speaks to the nature of how there's nothing on Challenge. But they did, as it was being taped in Glasgow, it was airing in prime time on the UK airwaves. So this is not like WWE who
managed to preempt that old episode of Strike It Lucky with Michael Barrymore.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, Spike TV, Sky Sports are not going to preempt jack shit to air Raw live when it's in the UK and it's on at 7 o'clock. They're not, no way. But I guess TNA. It's the nature of them and challenge and Roy Walker can wait. You know what I mean? And by wait, I mean they can wait on putting in that VHS of catchphrase from 1993. So it did air live over here. Well, quote unquote live. It was an hour tape delay. It's kind of the same as when it airs live in the States, and then it aired completely tape delayed in the States. And big crowd, very rowdy crowd. They were very receptive. It wasn't a great show, but I think it was made better by the crowd and the big reveal was the mystery investor who brought in.
Everybody, I'm back. We're gonna do an impact.
It was one Montavious Porter, formerly of WWE SmackDown.
Formerly of Chicken Wing Contest with Matt Hardy.
Yeah. He is in an authority figure role. It seems. I mean, it doesn't seem it is. Which I don't know. I think that's unusual. I mean, he is getting on in years, to be fair, but he's a bit young to be already being written off and put in.
Oh, I think he'll be having matches anyway.
Yeah, he's going to be in the lockdown match, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't been keeping up with the spoilers or whatever they're doing.
Yeah, I think that's it's his team against Team Dixie, I think.
Oh God, I'm really sick of these authority figures feuding together.
Is Dixie going to be in the match?
No. Well, maybe. Who knows?
Possibly.
I like that.
So I assume the Wolves are on his team.
Yeah. It's a weird combination, isn't it? MVP and the American Wolves. I mean,
yeah. Them and TNA has been pretty weird so far. It's only been like 3 weeks.
I thought they were good on this one.
Yeah, Davey Richards in his little suit, looking like a page boy, towering over Rockstar Spud.
No, they're about the same size.
Well, that's what I was joking. Yeah.
Oh God! I thought they were fine on this show. Even their little interview segment they did when they arrived at the arena, I thought was fine.
Why Eddie Edwards needs to
and
stop
they
smiling.
did what you wanted, Paul, where the car pulls up.
Yeah, they did it. That was good.
They must have listened.
Well,
Yeah, but except it was like MVP's mam's minivan.
It was a little tinted window SUV.
Yeah.
Wasn't even an SUV. It was like a little hatchback. The Peugeot 206.
So yeah, we'll see where this goes. All in all, Impact was pretty good. I thought it was not
Yeah,
bad.
that was decent. I quite like MVP's theme song.
No.
Yeah, it is good. It's got the little Godzilla sound because he's from Japan. You see?
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
Because he's in Japan.
He's not.
He's from Japan. He's Godzilla.
He had a cup of coffee in Japan, as they might say, as Jim Ross would say.
He was in Japan for like 3 years.
Cup of sake.
No.
No, he wasn't in Japan for that long, was he?
I think he probably was, but still.
Yeah.
It's not like he did. It's not like he did anything of note. Was he the Intercontinental Champion? I think for a while.
Yeah.
First ever Intercontinental.
Oh, he was. Yeah. Why did he come here then? Why is he over there?
Because he's here to make impact.
Ugh.
And back, everybody. Impact in 3, 2, 1. Rap song to my MVP.
Speaking of TNA and new people on that, right? Segue. When they were at when they had a house show in Dublin last week, Prince Devitt was in attendance.
We should have gone.
We should have. Me, you, and Fergal would have met up and had an old chat.
Bullet Club.
We would have joined the Bullet Club. We would have got the inside scoop. We would have kept it exclusively for us, of course. He was there, had an old chat.
Boo or boulette?
They oh god, they apparently made him an offer. WWE has made him an offer, and he's coming due with New Japan soon. So he's I believe he has 3 options. And
Hottest free agent in wrestling.
Yeah, I mean I would say so. Given that CM Punk isn't a free agent, and when he is, he's not going to sign with anyone. I would imagine. The idea of CM Punk going to TNA.
He could maybe go to Japan.
Oh, CM Punk? But why would he want to?
To wrestle.
The one
He
that
likes
I
wrestling.
find funny is the speculation that he's going to go to UFC.
Oh god, yeah.
Or Bellator. That was.
Why do they
even
always
funnier.
say this about wrestlers?
Well,
What?
CM Punk does.
Well, CM Punk loves MMA, so
Yeah, but then, God, so do loads of fucking people go to their local gym and do a bit of MMA.
But he's been.
Doesn't mean they can be a professional athlete.
He's been training jiu-jitsu for.
I played
quite a
football
while.
sometimes in the street, Well, not anymore, but I wasn't
when
planning
you
on...
were 10.
When I was
like
about
the rest of us.
13, yes, but I wasn't planning on turning pro.
But he does roll, as they say, which is the lamest
With Henner Grace.
lamest synonym for training ever. But that's what they call it. He does train with the Gracies and stuff. And I think if he wasn't in a lot of pain, old, and in a different lifetime, I think.
And not an athlete.
Yeah.
I think even if he wasn't in pain, I still think he shouldn't do it because he would be completely destroyed by anyone in that company.
By the way, we forgot to mention CM Punk. The completely lame and embarrassing TNA. Please pay attention to us.
Oh God!
Stuff.
Our YouTube playlist, CM Punk moments.
They had a 3-part series of like CM Punk and TNA moments. I was like, I'm surprised you got it 3 parts.
It was the 3 episodes he was on.
There's 3 episodes he was on, and like within an hour of that story breaking, Bully Ray was on Twitter just saying he's welcome to come to TNA and fight Bully Ray.
Meet me in the church.
Wasn't Bully Ray also tweeting about WWE, saying how he was watching Raw or something?
Oh God, what a week he's had. Yeah, he's like, if you think Raw is great, you should watch.
Yeah, that's what he was
his
saying.
accent. He's like, if you think Raw is great, you should watch Impact. I was like, oh, fuck off, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, David. A decision in the coming months, I would imagine. Obviously, it'd be great if he came to WWE, be on TV every week.
Well, I mean, you got to take into account what kind of offer.
It would not be a Sin Cara style offer, but he would need to get more than a Jabron coming from IWA Mid South. You know what I mean? Because he does well. He does well in Japan. You know.
Exactly. And
So-
TNA.
That'd be
The
silly.
interesting thing was, I was watching the preview for the Kevin Steen show with Davey Richards,
Oh yeah.
where he was talking about how obviously he was saying, I really wanted to join TNA. I really want to join TNA. I don't know how seriously he's saying that, but he was talking about NXT developmental and how reluctant he was to actually like move to Florida and go through the whole developmental system. So I'd say actually, as it's turned out for Davey, I think the TNA deal might be a little bit better than any potential WWE deal he would get.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, the other thing you have to consider is a lot of people will probably consider going, how are TNA's fortunes right now? You know what I mean?
True, but I mean, he's probably on, similar enough money to he'd make elsewhere at TNA. And compared to WWE, it still lets him do, I know he's like a medic or whatever outside. So it still allows him to do stuff that he enjoys, whereas with WWE, he'd be locked into this developmental deal, being paid shit money until they just let him go 2 years down the line,
Yeah.
Whatever.
So I'm gonna brush over some of these other stories here. Kenta was at the performance center, although he claims that he is it was some kind of train. He just went there to train, and the executives were there. He is not signed, or he's not in developmental. So that's one to watch as well.
Well, he does go to sleep, so they could slap a Wolverine beard on him. Oh,
and just put a weird filter on the camera when he's out there, so they don't know. It's black and white.
they can do like the Sin Cara lights. The blue
Yeah,
lights.
exactly.
I think that's CM Punk.
Speaking of Sin Cara,
Yeah.
as of last Friday, he's officially done with WWE.
Wait,
He's already
is this
signed on.
Is this Mystico?
This is Mystico, the original Mystico.
Right.
Oh, wait, no, not the original Mystico, because that's the current Sin Cara.
No, yeah.
How
What?
confusing.
The second Mystico, as in the original Sin Cara, the big one, the big star.
Yeah.
Not the physically big one, that's the current one.
The supposed big star, yeah.
Yeah, well, the alleged one, yeah. He is officially done with the company, and he has signed on with WWC in Puerto Rico, which is the Carlos Colon territory. He did an interview where he claims he owns the Sin Cara persona, and he has signed with WWC under the name Sin Cara, and he's keeping the Sin Cara mask that he debuted. It's white now, and so it looks kind of like old school Mystico, but it still looks Sin Cara. So that's interesting. I don't think that's true, but it could be, and I'd imagine that either there is a deal we don't know about, or one of them owns it and one of them is not supposed to be using it. That being Sin Cara or WWE. So we shall see where they go. But yeah, I mean, what a flop that was.
Yeah, it's a little sad in a way.
I guess.
I mean, he fucked himself for the majority of it. It's hard to feel too sorry, but oh well.
Yeah, and as we discussed before we came on air, Jimmy Snuka's up to his old tricks.
Is he or is our?
Oh well, actually no. Or the
he's
government.
murdering again.
The government's up to their old tricks of like taking 4 decades to get around to solving things. But yeah, that story's back in the news, and apparently it's all up in the air again. I honestly, not example.
I was of the opinion that he did it. I think we've spoken about this before.
Yeah.
I think he did it.
They're going to have to start editing him out of old footage. I'm putting a disclaimer up.
This might put up.
You're about to watch the Jimmy Snuka match, which wasn't a good idea to begin with.
This is a Jimmy Snuka match from 2011, years after he killed that woman that time. Oh, poor lad. Oh, and JoJo is off Total Divas as well, by the way. She's being replaced by the immeasurably better in every single way Summer Rae, who slapped Natalia in the trailer going...
In a completely wacky and like I'm a heel diva way, the same way she acts on TV.
Well, Natalia's like, you're coming off as a stripper.
Does this mean Fandango's going to be in it?
Yeah?
Oh, I must start watching it again.
He was already in like a good few episodes.
Oh yeah, I watched all of that. Yeah, so it was.
And like Tyson Kidd like tried to fight him or something.
God.
Anyway, Raw. Oh my God, it's raining again. God damn it, Ireland, get yourself under control. Raw was a stunningly dull show, I thought, given the Royal Rumble, and this is also before the Punk news broke, so people weren't quite on edge. Yeah.
I'm trying to think about Raw. It was sort of, just your functional Raw rather than anything exciting.
The most important thing probably was that they had an allusion to Triple H versus Bryan. They had a face-off.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. Oh, the main event, which was Sheamus, Daniel Bryan, and John Cena against The Shield. I think this was seriously the only other notable thing on the show. Oh, my voice is starting to go. Was just before the Wyatts ran in for the disqualification. Roman Reigns was in the STF and he broke it. He powered out of the STF, which I don't know if anyone else has done. Maybe they have, but certainly not a common occurrence.
Mm-hmm.
I very much appreciated that.
Interesting.
That match was to determine the first three participants rather in the Elimination Chamber after Randy Orton, who is defending his title in said chamber, and it was won by DQ by the Faces. So the Shield were very annoyed, and as of SmackDown, the Shield are facing the Wyatts to get revenge.
The last time we did a good job of building those two matches, but at the same time it just felt sort of dull, and when it was over I was like, oh, okay. Like it wasn't like an exciting ending to the show.
Yeah.
Despite it setting up these two matches.
DQ was a weird way to do it.
Yeah.
But I guess they wanted to set up the Wyatts, so.
The Wyatts aren't going to come out and attack the Shield, you know what I mean? To put John Cena in the match. Which they ironically did the night after costing with title shot. So they immediately put him in another title match.
What's going on with the Shield?
Don't know.
Because they turned on each other at the Rumble.
Yeah, they said ahead of time, though, that no matter what happens, we'll stick with each other after the fact. Which it's actually kind of impressive that they stuck to that, so. I don't know. I'm enjoying this teased face turn for Reigns, but I also appreciate that they're not jumping to it too quickly because I think he'll flounder if they do that.
Yeah, I think so too.
So good. Take your time. Take your time with that. That's good. Nothing else happened on Raw unless I'm forgetting something. Punk was conspicuous by his absence, but we did not know what had happened yet. So.
Well, like you said, we had the Daniel Bryan Triple H segment, which seems like now the direction they're going in for sure.
Which makes sense. I mean, I thought all along when they were fucking up that Bryan stuff, in the autumn, that he should definitely beat Triple H at some stage.
Yeah, and
whether or not he will is another issue. But
I think Triple H losing to Bryan at WrestleMania would quickly make people forget about this whole Royal Rumble deal. If he went on to beat Triple H at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and then Extreme Rules is in Seattle, so. Oh, and who's that we have at ringside? Oh, look, it's Kelsey Grammer. Oh, and the dog.
Been hiding under the ring for an hour. Oh, Niles.
Oh, Daphne. Oh, bloody hell, I'm going to the Impact tapings next week. Tip, tip, poop, pip. So, yeah. Sorry for the brief Raw review, everyone, but I'm getting knackered and nothing happened.
Well, that's fine. I mean, yeah, that is right. I mean, Triple H
everything else was atypical,
I just don't think did anything else happen on Raw.
Batista came out and was kind of hated, but generally people were just apathetic to him a little bit. The people who cared were angry. The people who don't hate Batista didn't really care enough to cheer him.
Yeah, I think it's a little dangerous now though that because he's associated with the Daniel Bryan thing. I think people are going to quickly forget about the Daniel Bryan thing, but still associate booing with Batista.
Yeah,
which I think is a little unfair. I mean, it's fair in that he looked shite in the Royal Rumble.
Mm.
Well, yeah, hopefully they accept Batista back, or alternatively, hopefully they turn Batista heel.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's on their agenda, but what choices they have, Yeah, so that'll be interesting to watch going forward. Cleveland is typically a very shitty town, and the crowd was not raucous all night, but they were certainly they certainly were heard with their Daniel Bryan and their boo and their no and their yes and all that thing. The sentiment of the previous night was definitely present, even though it was a little bit quieter. So yeah, I mentioned Impact, which I watched this week. People don't give TNA enough shit for how terrible Bully Ray is currently.
Yeah,
which is very annoying given where he was.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with him. It's a little too. It's like they're taking it too seriously for what is essentially quite a wacky deal.
I mean, it's just like they just think that Raven was so cool, and people love the brooding character, which I don't think is generally a good rule. No, and so they gave it to Styles, and now as soon as he's gone, they gave it to Bully Ray. It's like
But Bully Ray had this really strong gimmick that he was really good at. So why don't they just leave him do that? It's like Hulk. You're not being Hulk Hogan anymore. You have to be Raven now. It's like it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way, brother.
It doesn't play to his strengths at all.
No, same with Bully Ray. It doesn't.
So yeah, him and Kennedy are having a casket match at some stage. Don't remember when. Don't really care.
Lockdown, probably, I'd say.
No, I think they're doing it on TV. Oh. I think they might have taped it that night actually in Glasgow. I think I read that.
Oh, fair enough.
Gunner and Storm are on the same page. That was a weird segment, but I thought it was okay. They came out and cut a promo about all the troubles they've had, and the conclusion of it was we should just put it all behind us. And then Bad Influence came out, and they talked shit, and so that led to a tag match, and the Faces won, and they shook hands, and there you go. This feud is weird. Or this angle, it's not really a feud, I guess, anymore. It's just... maybe they just try to be a little bit different, have the tag team partners get on each other's bad side, but then ultimately they overcome.
Unless it's a swerve.
It could still be a swerve. Not that I'm exactly super high on James Storm, but the idea of Gunner with a world title shot is... I don't think so. But as we noted last week, they are desperately trying with new people. So
well, I thought Magnus did a good job in the opening segment, for example.
Yeah. You know what? I really like with the exception of Dixie Carter, I really like the Dixie stable.
Him, Rockstar Spud, and Ethan Carter.
Yeah, and I had no attachment to Derek Bateman before he came to TNA. So
I still think his promos could do a little work, but I think he's generally. Do you know who he reminds me a lot of actually visually nowadays, more so than ever? Is Andy Samberg.
Yeah, definitely.
I just saw him in Impact this week. I was like, oh, who does he look like? That's who it is. But yeah, I thought Magnus did really well with his promo. He did quite well at sort of manipulating the fans.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I thought he was really good. I like Rockstar Spud as the sort of Salacious Crumb character.
I really like Rockstar Spud.
Which if people don't remember who Salacious Crumb is, it's Jabba the Hutt's lizard monkey who goes in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I think Rockstar Spud is good as that little in that role, and he looks a little like it as well, which is
he does actually.
Yeah, I quite like that stable as well. Dixie Carter is terrible though.
Yeah.
Her at the end of the show, and the camera go, "Do you know who I am?" Oh, so go away, you old bitch.
So the Wolves. The Wolves are in a kind of a bodyguard role for the investor, and so Spud called them out, and he tried to intimidate them, and that was pretty amusing.
I thought Spud was very good.
And then he slapped Davey, and Eddie sold it like it was the funniest thing he ever saw, and they threw him up in the air and kicked him in the face. I could have fucking sworn they said they were going to wrestle this week. I'm getting kind of sick of this because I also think they don't wrestle. They didn't wrestle that night in Glasgow either, and they're taping in London as we speak, or they did tape.
I read somewhere that they wrestled Bad Influence coming up.
Yeah, was it they did Manchester, didn't they?
That would be a stupid match to do right away for free, like out of nowhere on telly. Like that, you could build that up and do that at Lockdown.
But who are you going to have to wrestle in the first match?
The Bromans.
They're the tag team champions.
Win the title. Fuck the titles. They could win the titles the first night and then feud with Bad Influence over the titles. But regardless, this is nitpicking.
Yeah.
because they're generally speaking, I have other issues with fucking what's it called, the Wolves. The Wolves. I think it's a very weird role they have them in, but it's different, and they.
Well, it makes sense that they were brought in by the investor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean it's good that they're brought in relatively close to the top, and also that they stand around, they wear suits, and they look cool, and whatever.
They do.
Although
Eddie Edwards looks a little bit like a Muppet.
He needs to stop. He is forever smirking.
He's like a ventriloquist dummy.
Which is a bit weird.
David Richards has a good look, except he's so tiny.
Yeah, that's really the only thing that holds him back, because he does. I mean, when he wears the suit well. I did note on Twitter that he wears it better than Lego Man John Cena.
Yeah, John Cena looks like a washing machine in a suit.
There's a note here from the Saturday update on the Observer site. Besides being the new investor, MVP will also be a wrestler with TNA. So there you go. A trailer for Wrestling Road Diaries 2 is up. That's been in the work for years at this stage. The first one is very, very good.
And who's in the second one?
Oh God, I can't remember. I'm not gonna watch the trailer.
Luke Gallows, isn't it?
Luke Gallows and Colt Cabana and someone else, I believe. Probably Marty DeRosa, I would assume.
Right. No, that wouldn't interest me as much.
Yeah. I mean, but whatever. I'm just looking through this news update here. There were people from the WWE office at last night's PWG event, and we're told they loved the show. That's good. William Regal was at Bowler last year, and I don't know if anyone was signed out of that, but it helps. Any other news? I don't know.
I was mentioned that Claudio's in the Antonio Cesaro's in the chamber.
Oh yeah, himself and Christian.
It's Christian.
Which is the equivalent of Batista returning just to win the Royal Rumble. Christian's back and he's in the title match immediately.
I can assure you those things are not similar at all, especially after the Elimination Chamber. We will realise how not similar they are. But yeah, that's going to be a great match.
Yeah,
sure. Should be. Unless it comes down to John Cena and Randy Orton again.
Which I have to imagine it would be, because I don't know what else they're going to do.
Well, I'll have Bray screw.
Again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's going to be more than one screw job in that match, because never say never. I would imagine that they really shouldn't beat Daniel Bryan just straight up RKO or anything like that. I feel like that would be very silly. But they could.
Well, you never know. They have history. They limited CM Punk first in that December to December one. And it was like, well, that leaves Test and Bob Holly and Lashley.
I did have an idea for the Rumble that Sheamus would return as a surprise, not in the match, and eliminate Bryan, who would be in the match, and as retaliation for the fact that it's basically Bryan's fault, no one likes Sheamus. You could do a spot this year where Bryan eliminates Sheamus and then Sheamus kicks him and Orton pins him.
Well, not if they're going to do Bryan Triple H now.
Oh yeah. Fucking CM Punk, he's fucked up my plans.
Sheamus can always wrestle Christian if they want.
I realised they just...
that would be a good match.
I just realised it's been no big... They pinned him like it was no big deal on Sunday, but... man, I really don't think they should do that again. But it's a six-man match. I mean, I don't think people care that much.
They could have Sheamus wrestle Christian on the Access show the day before WrestleMania in front of 20 people or whatever.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
So, back to Impact. Joe was a top contender. He tapped out Magnus in the main event in a tag match.
Oh, Joe.
Joe
is looking fat, though. Fatter than usual.
But he's always looking fat.
Well, more so.
He's also his typical preposterously angry self all the time again now.
I liked how they had with Bobby Roode, though, backstage.
Where he threatened to murder him, yeah.
Where they had to intimidate him into not interfering in their match, because he had been doing it so often lately, where people's careers were on the line.
One point I did hear that I liked, that is true, is MVP, prior to showing up, the Wolves announced that he said anyone who interfered in the main event would be fired.
Yeah.
So theoretically, does that mean that for as long as he's around, no more interference in TNA ever?
No.
because this is one of those things in wrestling where they do a stupid angle like that, and you would imagine, being a sensible person, that that's just a precedent, but nothing in wrestling is ever a precedent, so...
Well, Bully Ray was the precedent of the eights.
Right, that's enough of that now. So that was Impact. It was a good show. Great crowd. I hope they stay as lively for the second.
Easy. I guess I'd imagine the Americans, especially Ethan Carter, they didn't probably know what that meant.
they hated the English, which I thought was funny, and Borash put over the fucking independence referendum they're having in September, which I was amused by. Oh, God, shut up, you nerd.
Well, that was like when I saw Teenage Cody trying to put over the Irish Times, only to be booed.
Yeah.
Oh, they always love getting their little references in. The TNA.
Anyway.
That's so weird now to think the TNA show I saw compared to TNA now. What a turnover of talent there's been. Mick Foley, Alex Shelley was that the one I saw as well.
Yeah. Chris Sabin's still there.
By the way, in the movie The Negotiator,
Oh, yeah.
starring Kevin Spacey, Sam Jackson, and a pre-Breaking Bad Dean Norris.
Uh-huh.
You know what Kevin Spacey's character is called in it?
Walter White.
Chris Sabian.
Oh, yeah.
And it's Sabian, but the way Sam Jackson says it is Sabin. So he's like, motherfucker, get my Chris Sabin.
Why isn't that Butchermania?
City.
Doodle-doodle-doo-doodle-doo.
Put that together as a Butchermania ending. Send it to Matthew.
Oh, yeah, actually, yeah.
Can't be bothered. But he does say it as, Derek, get Chris Sabin down here. And then you can have the clip of him running down and Impact his shit.
Or him falling off the
And I tell you
Ultimate
what,
X.
with all the rumors of Russo being back at TNA, was this week's the clearest instance where Chris Sabin ran out and called Madison Rain a tramp.
Yeah.
Get out of here, you skank!
Although the woman got the laugh in the end, so there's the
Well,
counter.
that's true, yeah.
Yeah.
God, I tell you what, if there's anything I don't miss from wrestling of years past, it's just the women being horrible to each other. Like,
Horrible screeching harpies.
shut up, you bitch! You're a bitch, you're a skank!
I remember there was a thing where Miss Tessmacher, she first came in as Eric Bischoff's floozy secretary, and then he turned face. Oh, no, he didn't turn face. He ditched her and she turned face. And she went into the locker room and she asked Velvet Sky to train her, which is a hilarious question. And Velvet Sky, who was a face at the time, this is Brooke Tessmacher trying to win the favor of the faces. She was like, yeah, well, okay, we can start, and the first lesson is you can start by kissing my ass, you bitch! And I was like, oh, God, these women. God, these are all unlikable bitches. The glory days of TNA. But anyway, the show's gone long, everyone. We're going to have to call time on it here.
But if there was ever a show to go long, this was the one.
This is the one. It was a long week. Next week, 20-minute show, no news. CM Punk dead. Forget about it.
Did Jimmy Snuka kill him?
Right.
More
listen,
than that in 40 years.
to keep up to date with the show and all the goings on, you need to go to twitter.com/ChairShotPod. While you're there on Twitter, what you can also do is you can go to The Barry Lad on Twitter. That's The Barry LAD. You can follow myself. You can follow Paul Griffin CSP for Paul, and for Joe, you can follow Griff Tannen. And we'll be tweeting during the week. We'll be live tweeting things. We'll be, chatting away, doing all the fun stuff that people do on Twitter. You can also go to ChairShotPodcast.com, where you can find our social media links. You can find the email us button. You click on that, and it takes you to a screen where you compose your message, and you pick your host. A little drop-down menu there. Send me an email, send Paul an email, send Joe an email, whoever your favorite is. And as always, we would encourage you to email us about Raw, tell us about the news, or whatever you've gotten up to in your life. Saw a film, ate a sandwich, threw a penny at a bird, joined Glad, turned vegan. Whatever you did this week, get in touch with us and we'll have a chat about it. Also, up on ChairShotPodcast.com is the complete episode archive for the ChairShot Podcast. You can go back and listen to those shows that Paul did live. You can go back and listen to Townie and the Griff on Footy Radio. You can go back and listen to the ones with Chris Blakey. You can go back and listen to the ones where I was completely inaudible and I don't even know why we put them out. All those classic CSP memories. So, with all that said, ladies and gentlemen, it is goodbye from me, Barry Murphy. It is goodbye from Joe Towner.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from Mr. Paul Griffin.
And I didn't blow my nose once the whole show.
Good man.
This podcast was brought to you by loudyspeak.com.